it's Batman.
It's Batman.
That's what I said, man. I said Batman.
No, it's Batman.
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 Come on, man. We keep saying the same thing, Batman.
So sit your ass down. Thank you.
My 14-year-old son spray painted a wall and got Batista bombed off a Wayne Tower. After delivering me fresh CTE, he still has the nerve to ask me to talk. Motherfucker, I couldn't even tell you my own name. No, Penguin gets to escape 15 times, but no, let Louis double park. Now I gotta learn how to walk again. Yeah, Batman doesn't kill, right? So tell me why he owns an armored fucking tank. Who the fuck are your ops? My pal Liddy got hit with so many fucking batarangs, he started looking like a pincushion. I saw him stomping out a crackhead in an alleyway once. I just kept fucking walking. He hit me with a batarang for jaywalking. I'm sitting with a whole shuriken in my chest. I asked him to show mercy once, and he looks at me with a straight face and goes, "What's mercy?" I thought I saw the bat once and had 2 strokes.
Was it him?
It was my own fucking shadow. How come Bruce Wayne donates millions to mental health programs while Batman's out here causing half the concussions in Gotham? I stole 1 Reese's Peanut Butter Cup.
What happened?
He broke my jaw, dislocated my arm, and whispered justice in my ear, man. What the fuck?
So sit your ass down. Thank you.
My young boy took steroids and started fighting crime. So he hopped out the Lazarus pit and decided we should all take a visit, huh? When did little Jason get so buff? He died and got on Batman meal plan? Joker didn't kill him. He just handed him some black forces and let him go. We gotta run an investigation, man. What do Batman be feeding these children? I don't care what the bat says. This motherfucker right here is vengeance. So he switches out the cape for a leather jacket and gets to start moving like Blade now? Quick question.
Sure.
If Batman left him to die, how does that translate to Louis being a paraplegic? He was handing out comas like Halloween candy. I can't breathe. I thought he was bluffing. But when he actually pulled the trigger, that's when I came to Jesus. He got a second chance at life and chose violence again. Then we learned nothing from Kratos. Have you seen Inside Out?
Yeah.
How he only get angry?
I thought he didn't kill.
I did too until he looked at me and said, "Do I look like Batman to you?" It's like if NBA Youngboy took steroids and started fighting crime.
Yo, what's up? Shout out to my AKs that have been helping me support the channel all day. We've been doing like speed tests and all kinds of stuff today, man. Trying to get it right. You know what I mean? I think I said my mic was too loud, so let me turn it down a little bit. That should be better. Last time I was on anyway. But yeah, it's been crazy. If it's jumping now, I don't know why, but the technician's coming tomorrow. But you guys said you wanted it anyway, so I'm going to give it to you anyway. We're going to go live regardless. And appreciate you, Sadiqa. That was a good conversation earlier, man. If y'all hear the puppies in the background, they still running around doing their thing. Make sure y'all do your house dues when y'all get in here, though. Y'all know the rules, man. Don't come in my house and don't take your shoes off. And taking your shoes off, means sharing, liking, subscribing, doing your due diligence. Hit that notification button because that lets everybody know that it lets YouTube know anyway, that this is new content that you want, to give relevance to. Even if you've done it in the past, make sure you hit it, deselect it, and select it again for those of you who haven't done it recently because, you've followed plenty of pages between now and the first time you probably followed or subscribed to me. So YouTube doesn't know. They look at me as old news if you don't update it. You know what I mean? He said, how much them pups? I think I'm going for 500 right now. I could go more, but I want to sell them fast. You know what I mean? They're going to be huge, though. I can tell you that. They are big. That's why I got to get them out of here fast. So, if they don't sell at 5, I might even drop the price after that, man. But with shipping, if I got to ship them to you, you're going to pay me 5 because I got to get them to you. But I want to at least wait 8 weeks because that way I can get them their dewormers and their shots and do everything I'm supposed to do with them. And make sure, they're going to good homes, too, because I'm not just selling them in the blind because they're like family to me, man. You gotta go somewhere where, it's respectable. So you gotta make sure you really take care of them, man, because I will be checking. Because, these my babies. But can't keep them all. It's 10 of them. I ain't got time for 12 dogs. Well, 13 dogs. I got 3 older dogs already. We back in business. Let me know if we smooth too. But I don't want to don't go so crazy in the chat where all y'all telling me is like, hey, it's jumping. Because then I get distracted and all I start paying attention to is the technical difficulty. So if it's jumping, it's jumping. If it's not, hopefully it's not. I did a couple of things to try to fix it even on my end. I lowered the resolution, changed the bit rate, changed even the browser. I went off of Chrome and now I'm in Edge using Microsoft shit. It's a lot. But we getting the hang of it, man. Hopefully it's looking better now, though. I heard that StreamYard works better with Microsoft Edge than it does Chrome. So Hope they don't make a liar out of that. Chat GBT be kind of telling the truth sometimes, but I be catching that whole lying too. You smooth like a moonwalk right now. I appreciate that, Reezy. Appreciate that. We know what we're doing. I mean, the title says it all, but I've been doing it piece by piece where I've been breaking down, the draft recap, not just the draft recap, but the offseason recap, from a piece by piece standpoint. But when you look at it from this standpoint, the way I'm talking now is like just in chronological order, we're gonna break down like all the different things that's happened this offseason. And then I'm gonna break that down into segments for you guys later too, and into different breakdowns. But we all know how last season ended, you know what I mean? I'll get this out my ear because it makes it real loud for me. I don't want to hear myself talk that loud. But we all know how last season ended. When you look at what we did last year, our offense was rolling. George Pickens did his thing. Dak did his. Javonte Williams came in. I think Javonte Williams surprised everybody. Shout out to Javonte Williams too. He a tourist, team tourist. When I look back at our signs, I mean, I'm not really into I'm not super crazy into the signs, but at the end of the day, it's a lot of tourists that's the best of what they do. I'm just gonna say, man, GSP and MMA, best of what he do. Javonte Williams, Emmitt Smith, Ray Lewis, you know what I mean? They all tourists, you know what I'm saying? There's a lot of them. Luke Kuechly, tourists. I think if you say who the best of what they do, or who at the precipice of their position, tourists is whooping ass right now, man. So Team Tourist, man, May 15th right here, man. My birthday coming up soon, so make sure y'all show some love. But to my point, Javonte Williams surprised everybody and just had a breakout performance that earned him a contract, right? So this offseason, we didn't go into the offseason thinking we needed a hell of a lot of help offensively, and it showed, obviously, in the draft. I think we needed depth on the offensive line, which we got. It's a lot more to do, though, and that's because the defense, right? Obviously, in the beginning, we started that coaching search. I was here with you all while we went through it. We started going through Leonard, Leonard, I think his name was Jim Leonard. I mess everybody's name up. But, we went through Leonard first. Then we started going through different options that we might like. And I don't think anybody, including myself, had Christian Parker on their radar. I didn't think that it was an issue, that he would be even an option. I mean, but he was the last that they interviewed, and he actually, turned out to be the best. Now, looking at the scheme that he brought in, when you look at the coaches that they brought in, we went through all that. I think everybody's probably BT Jordan out with me by now, and Marcus Dixon out with me by now, Christian Parker out, because I've taken a deep dive into what those guys do and what type of style they bring to this team. So looking at it from that perspective, we were very happy and content when we looked at the first phase. And if you look at that phase, just as being, I guess, if you break it down into thirds or quarters, it depends on how you want to do it. Let's say quarters because we're talking football, but that would be the first quarter of the offseason was just hiring the coaches. Hiring those coaches was already an A for me from the front office. And the reason I'm breaking this down in the segments the way we're doing is because we give this front office a lot of flack, myself included. We all talk about Jerry like people either talk like they want him to croak or they talk like they want him to quit. Either way, you know what I mean? People talk crazy about Jerry. And sometimes, I mean, for years, it has been warranted to a degree where, I would agree that he wasn't doing the greatest effort or putting forth his best foot in regards to trying to win right now. But I think mortality and age has, caught up to him to a point where he understands, like, yeah, I want to have a profitable franchise. I've built a brand that is profitable. Yes, I have the mind of a 45-year-old, according to my neurologist, right? But, age is catching up to him. So he wants to see another Super Bowl before he gets out of here. And I think a lot of the moves that he made speaks to that, right? So you got to give Jerry credit for this offseason because I think the Cowboys have had an A-plus offseason at this point due to the fact that I don't have a coach on this staff right now that I have a problem with yet because they haven't done anything yet. But when I look at their resumes as to where they're coming from and what they've done in their body of work and the way they approach their work, A-plus there, right? So that first phase, as I said, coaching, A-plus. I think Christian Parker coming from the Fangio tree, you see a lot of teams kind of adopting that too high safety look and, trying to stop the run with just their front seven, which is difficult to do because you need the personnel up front to do it. But if you can do it, that is where you create the balance on the back end and the front end, where the look itself discourages quarterbacks from even wanting to throw the ball because they know they have to throw deep middle or out to the sides or short. You don't want to throw short because then everybody's rallying to the football on those tunnel screens. You don't really want to throw deep middle all day because usually in these types of looks, you'll have a athletic linebacker that's kind of roaming that 15 yards off the ball, in the diamond or the triangle from the quarterback. When I say the diamond, I mean if this would be the quarterback kind of throws to the flats or up that diamond, up to the precipice of that diamond right in the middle in a too high look, and tries to split those safeties. When you have smart safeties and a smart athletic linebacker in the middle of that, they know that's where you want to go with the ball, and you don't want to do it. Plus, you can disguise post snap and do some of those single high looks or zero coverage looks late. Nyla, go lay down. Come on, man. I ain't got time for that. I'm live. She jumped out the tub with the babies, and now she want to come over and make noise. We ain't got time for that. But that's my dog I'm talking to. I don't talk to humans like that. I might, I don't know, maybe. But depends on which human. But anyway, quarterbacks don't want to do that. So the scheme alone, just having Christian Parker here has changed things. And a lot of teams are trying to adopt that, but they don't have the personnel to do it. So even though we went and got Christian Parker, if Jerry and those guys in the front office didn't just like release the grip on the reins, or at least close their ears and their minds in regards to what it would take to make this type of defense or this type of scheme work, it still doesn't really mean very much, right? But it does in this sense, because change was definitely necessary, and I think Jerry understood that, because the things that he's allowed Christian Parker to do, not just from coach selection, but even in the draft and leading up to the draft, those were things that you didn't generally see the Cowboys doing. And I mean, like, let's take one hire, for instance, and we'll talk about him again, but BT Jordan. Let's talk about the fact that during the draft buildup, you had a lot of players that were working with, some on camera, some not, that were working with BT Jordan. Even him watching film of potential players was different, right? Because you have a pass rush specialist who's breaking records, in pressures and sacks everywhere he's going. You have a guy like that that's now kind of manning your pass rush look in your room, right? So when he's going out and looking at those guys like Arvell Reese, like Bailey, like Styles and so on, you're getting a look from him that you normally don't get an opportunity to get until a player gets drafted by you. Even if you go out to the combine and you work with him a little bit, or you talk to a coach who who you trust, Saban, and Saban tells you this about downs. And so, yeah, that's still all secondhand knowledge. But having a guy that actually has worked with the player himself and gotten a deep dive into, an hour, a week, 2 weeks worth of either film or just firsthand experience with the player, that's giving you insight, that you normally don't get. So looking at that perspective, it makes us a lot more educated going into the draft and in the offseason. So even the hiring of a guy like BT Jordan lets you know that Jerry Jones has changed or changed his stripes in a sense, where now his mindset towards winning, it has to be different. It's no way that you could say that Jerry hasn't taken accountability for some of the things that we criticize him for. You know what I mean? I can't say enough. Let me say something real quick, because let me do something real quick. I need to share this on Twitter. I haven't done that, so let me do that real quick so that I know I can get this up there. You know what I mean? And then I'll get right back to what we're talking about. Hold on a second. That was a test. Hold on a second. Let me get on YouTube real quick, get this on the Twitter, and then we can get going again. Make sure you guys do that too. Share it on Twitter. Share it with your mama, your cousins, your friends, your brothers, whoever. You know what I mean? Do what you got to do. I'm doing it. Follow suit. Let's go. Hold on. Let me see. All right. I'm live. Yes, I am. All right. We got 61 in here. We're going to put this on Twitter, and then we good. Copy and paste, baby. Boom. All right. It's out there. All right. So with that said, though, when you look at what Jerry did, even with Jerry, and I won't give him just the credit alone, but he's obviously listening to somebody, because he's allowing these guys to really show him what it takes to have that edge at this phase of the game, and the game has changed. It's transformed to what it is now, and Jerry's catching up because I was very impressed by that hiring of BT Jordan and the hiring of Marcus Dixon. Like, he's going for winners, not just guys, not the good old boys, the guys that he knows, the Joe Philbins, the Mike Nolans, you know what I'm saying, the McCarthys, the guys he can control. It's not that anymore. That's what it was before, when Jerry was trying to coach the team himself, or when he wanted to have a level of influence that allowed him to really have his hand on the pulse, right? Not that he doesn't want it on the pulse at this stage in the game, but it's to a degree where he has to understand that you have to hire talent and allow them to do their jobs. And if they can't, you're not going to win in this league. And I have to take my hat off to him, quite literally. I got the hat on because I need to go get a haircut. But quite literally, because Jerry Jones has definitely turned a new leaf when it came to his philosophy on hiring coaches and the way he's going about that. So that's going to impact development, something crazy. And when I say impact development, I'm going to get into this again when we get into this segment. But you gotta think about progress stoppers now that I mentioned impact development, because a lot of you on Twitter right now talking to me about going after an all-pro linebacker still, like Jack Campbell or Jordan Brooks, whoever his name is. First it was Lloyd, then it was Campbell, then it was Brooks, then it was Dean. We need all-pro like we need, our wisdom teeth pulled, right? I don't think we do. And I'm not saying that I'm going to be a guy that's mad if we win and got one. I think I might be, though. I'm not even going to lie if I'm being honest, because I don't want a progress stopper here, since we're talking about how it impacts progress, how these coaches impact progress. If you believe in the coaches, you believe that they are a booster, you believe that they can make this team better, if you truly believe that, right, then why do you want to go get somebody that's already a finished product that you think is, I guess, our savior here on this defense, to block guys that we do like D Winters and Jay Sean Barham? I think Jay Sean Barham and Winters will be good staples here. And if they stay healthy along with DeMarion Overshawn, I think the Dallas Cowboys linebacker room is already sturdy, especially when you look at the guy Curtis Robinson that they went out and got from the 49ers as well. He's starting caliber. And I believe that Morris Leofau is also starting caliber as well, if you wanted to put him back in that room. So when you have 5 of them, we had a year, and to all the guys and gals who think that I'm crazy, where was this conversation at when we had Quinn and we didn't have no linebackers and everybody was defending guys like LVE? Now all of a sudden everybody's like a linebacker extraordinaire, and they want an all-pro. Why didn't y'all want an all-pro when we was running Marquise Bell out there? Why y'all wait till we get guys who can become all-pros at their real position, a linebacker, to start screaming we need an all-pro? Doesn't make any sense. And an all-pro coming here, number one, Jerry's not going to pay them, because why would I pay an all-pro that's already finished, right? A coach on the field that's already a finished product, when I just brought coaches in to finish the products that I'm drafting in the first place, because they still want to be a draft first team. And they want to build around that draft. But they know now they need key components like your Quinnen Williams and your Kenny Clarks and your Rashawn Garys and those guys that can teach those younger guys on this team how to be consummate pros. Your Jalen Thompsons, your Malik Hookers. These are guys that are not from the Cowboys, grown from the Cowboys organization, but have borrowed knowledge from different coaches and different schemes and different organizations and different preparations all over the league that can now share with some of these young guys here. Because when you look historically, we didn't have that, Akoye, I like how our depth is setting up. Me too, Reezy. Me too. But that is a key piece that you guys got to pay attention to. So, the front office is definitely doing something when it comes to team building. And I don't think, if you look at it that way, I don't think they're going to take another jump out there for an all-pro linebacker, unless they get to a phase in the season like they did last year, after they went out and got Kenny Clark. And then they said, he needs some help, and Osa and Thomas ain't enough, and they weren't letting Mozzie play. So we didn't see what he was going to do either. So none of this is working. Let's blow it up and bring in a guy who can help us. When you talk about team building strategy, I don't get it. Like, I see a lot of content creators, right, that are reaching. And when I say reaching, I'm not trying to disrespect anybody. I'm just saying they're reaching for things to talk about. I can tell by the things they're talking about. Like, They're like, look at the calf muscles on Jayshon Barr. I'm like, bro, come on, man. You got more to say than that. And I'm only messing with these guys, but I'm saying there's a lot of meat that's still left on the table that people are not talking about, and there's a lot of low-hanging fruit. Maybe I'm just a strange person that sees things differently, but I haven't seen this level of success from the Cowboys since the Herschel Walker trade. And I'm being real. We got 5 players, I believe, for the Herschel Walker deal that was, that were impactful. And when you look at the Micah Parsons deal, I don't think they want to talk about it because I think the ESPN and the national media wanted it to be a situation where the Cowboys lost out on that type of deal, on that trade. They did not lose on that trade, and nobody's saying that. Everybody's just acting like it didn't happen. You know what I mean? You know how if a player that you don't like, he starts performing, or somebody you thought was trash starts looking great, instead of saying, you know what, I was wrong. I was wrong about you, Jerry. Hey, I was wrong about Micah. Hey, I was wrong about. They just say nothing. Right now, it's just silence. No, they talk about Rashawn Gary like he's not it, and I don't even get that. We got Rashawn Gary for a 4th-round pick too. Remember that. You know what I mean? Which is insane. You know what I mean? Insane. You know what I mean? We wanted a guy in the 1st round, Falk, who's 6'5", 280, and he was raw. We got a guy 6'5", 280 who's not raw, who's a beast, and we act like that was a nothing move because they say we was gonna cut him in. They was gonna cut him. They was gonna cut him. They was gonna cut him. If they would have cut him, we would have paid more for him. So going to get him before they cut him for a 4th-round pick, we won that one too. We won that trade too. But beyond that, when you look at the Micah Parsons trade, though, well, we can just put to the side that Micah Parsons is now recovering from an ACL tear. Put that aside. But that right there, you could have just said, all right, well, put a fork in it. But beyond that, we got a 2027 pick and a 2026 pick for that, right? With our 2026 pick, I believe we grabbed Malachi Lawrence. Wow, and teaming him up with BT Jordan. We got Caleb Downs in the 1st round as well. We got Kenny Clark in the trade itself. And then as a result, we got Quinnen Williams as well. So you can stop at Quinnen Williams and Kenny Clark. I would have took the trade for just those 2 guys and no picks, I'm being honest. Now, or maybe a 3rd-round pick in those 2 guys, maybe. But I would have took that. If you look at their productivity and what they're going to do on the field for you and how they're going to change your team, I would have took it anyway. But having them plus the extra picks that we picked up as a result, and then what happened with Micah as well, like that trade from a Cowboy perspective, we won the shit out of that trade. And you can't say that had nothing to do with Jerry. Like everybody was mad at Jerry when we let him go. Now that it looks good, and we're having the A+ draft. Where did the A+ draft come from? It came from the trade that we made last season in the beginning of the season. So this front office may not do everything. You know, they say the guy, and I'm not comparing him to guy, but I'm just saying they say he may not come where you want, but you're always on time. This front office been on time the last season and a half so far, right? The last season and this offseason. They've been making the moves that we need them to make the foundation for the future a bright one and a strong, sturdy one, right? So you got to say that, and you got to take that into account. And also, people, those of you in the chat, some of my moderators, let me know if I've jumped at all, because if I haven't, maybe I fixed the problem. But let me know if I've had any hiccups with my stream at all, and I appreciate that. If Sadiqa, let me know, okay? But yeah, like I said, team building has been happening since the middle of last year. We did this is what y'all not paying attention to. There is nobody coaches. You said stream straight. Thanks, Angie. Coaches. What coaches here that was here last year? I think we got one that was here on defense last year. That's still here. That's it. So coaches are gone. Players. Who's starting from last season that started last year? Bland. Bland is probably going to start. Demo started some of last year, so Demo's probably going to start. I'm going to stop right there. I mean, other than Kenny Clark and Quinnen Williams, they started, but they were part of the rebuild. So Bland and Demo is it, and Hooker. We got 3 players that'll probably start on this 11-man starting lineup, or 12-man if you count Downs as a nickel guy. We did a rebuild in the middle of the season. I used to be in sales, and I had this guy named Chuck Chuck Evans, funny old head, man. Old white guy, but he was funny as shit. He let me borrow his beach house one time, 2 down AC. Cool dude. You know what I mean? But Chuck used to always say, we're building the plane while flying, folks. And I used to always think that was like funny, right? But it's true. We're doing a rebuild while playing. Most teams don't do that. Most teams like Miami, you see Miami's fire selling in the offseason, getting rid of everybody, right? Because they're in rebuild mode in the offseason. We started in the middle of last year, and now we're complete. I think we've changed not only the culture, we changed the culture from the top down, meaning from the mindset and the philosophy with the coaches, all the way down to the players, and even the mindset of the players. You know, I remember Quentin Williams said something at halftime, one of those games. I think it was the Thanksgiving game. I don't remember which game it was. It might have been the KC game, but he said something that just woke everybody up and gave everybody life. And I remember him quoting him. I don't remember the quote, to be honest, at this point, but I remember other players referencing what he said and how it just got them ready to play. And I don't remember any other times that I've heard players, especially in recent years, reference another player that way. A lot of the players are just playing for themselves. We had a lot of hero ball going on because of the lack of depth. We were relying on star players to make plays in big moments. Everybody was trying to be the Michael Jordan on the field. Everybody was kind of vying against each other. D-Law was trying to out-sack Micah instead of just doing his job. Micah's trying to out-lead D-Law instead of just doing his job. They're arguing and ready to fist fight on the sideline because neither one is doing their job, and neither one want to take accountability for the fact that they're not doing their job. Now, D-Law went on to win the Super Bowl. That doesn't mean he was doing his job correctly when he was here either. I like D-Law, but when you look at D-Law, and shout out to Robert T. Green, too. He pointed something out to me. But when you look at D-Law and even his productivity while he was here, I think a lot of people were down. Even, like I said, when you go back to the Gary trade, a lot of people were down on that trade. They're like, oh, he's no D-Law. I think I might have said it, too. But when I said it was Freudian slip, I wasn't really looking at it from a statistical or productivity standpoint. But D-Law was a baller when it came to his physicality and his tenacity. But let's not act like he wasn't jumping into B gaps a little bit too often without making sure that linebacker behind him was scraping, right? Where we would give up plays on the edge. Now, the reason that was happening was because, hey, he jump into the B gap and he'll give you a play like he did against Detroit, and you love him because you remember that play for the rest of the game. But you don't look at the film like I do and watch 4 other times where he did that and it didn't work, or he got washed out, and now someone has 15, 16 yards to the edge, and we blame it on the linebacker, or we just act like he didn't do it because we like D-Law, right? Those things were happening a lot. Those things don't happen to Rashawn Gary. That doesn't. He's very disciplined. He will do what the coaches ask him to do, even sacrifice his own sack stats by rerouting tight ends instead of getting off the ball, where guys are saying, hey, he got a slow get off, which he does not. But they say he got a slow get off, right? And now he can't go, get the quarterback, which wasn't true either. But I don't think anybody will argue that he didn't want sacks in that last season, including himself. He wanted more productivity, and I think everybody else is right for asking for more productivity. I don't think anybody's wrong for saying that. I think people are wrong for making it seem like we didn't go get a prolific player. When you look at his starts, he's only started 64 to 67 times. He got 46 sacks and 64 starts. Do you understand? D-Law has like 61 sacks and 125 starts. Do you understand what I'm saying? So people don't pay attention to the things that they say, and nor do they pay attention to what's happening on a film consistently or what's formulating, which I usually fuss about. Not today, not now, because I'm looking at it like, hey, I like it when, we can quietly sneak up on guys. I think, honestly, in the past, because the youth of the Cowboys mindset of the players, we didn't really handle success very well. We usually started sucking. The better we got as far as records and the bigger the wins we had, we would come in flat the weeks after against big teams. And that's why we were losing the big teams, because we were inflated. We would inflate our mindset when we would beat up on bums. We'll beat up on bums and think we're better than we are. And I see that in a lot of fighters. Like, I got guys who will try to knock out the old guys. Like myself, if I get in there with you and I'm sparring and you try to knock my head off, I've been boxing since I was 7. So obviously I'm still articulate. That means I know I'm very good at defense. So you're not going to really hurt me that often. But when I do feel it, Like a guy bust my lip a couple weeks ago, Dylan. I said, damn, that's what we doing? He said, that's what you doing. I said, I ain't know I was hitting you that hard, bro, but all right, let's do it. But what I mean by that is you a pro fighter. Why are you trying to knock out guys who are trying to help you get better, right? Why do you have an inflated ego? You know what I'm saying? Which will humble you, right? And this game will humble you. So what we would do in the analogy I'm getting to is this: we would beat up on bum teams and start thinking that because we put up 40 on a bum team, that when San Fran rolls in here or Green Bay rolls in here, we were just going to walk through them. Those things did not work. So you did not properly prepare as a result. We had a lot of that going on. So the mindset now is different, man. Much different. The guys we got up here are work pail, lunch pail guys that are coming. Like, Kenny Clark is a consummate pro. Quentin Williams, consummate pro. Rashawn Gary, consummate pro. Jalen Thompson, consummate pro. You know what I'm saying? These guys come in here and they want to win, and they know how to, and they've been places where they have. You know what I'm saying? So those mindsets, those are tricks that are going to come in here and get a lot of these young guys coming up behind them a lot better off from the start. So to my point of not needing another or an all-pro at linebacker, the reason I said that is because in those other rooms, like if you look at the outside linebacker room, you got Rashawn Gary in there who's a veteran who knows the game and knows what he's doing. Then you got a bunch of young guys behind him. He's that guy that's going to teach those young guys. When you look at the defensive tackle room, they're all veterans. Ogbo, Bullard, Kenny Clark, Quentin Williams, and now you have the kid Overton who's learning under them. You know what I'm saying? He's coming in. He's not expected to be our number one run stopper like we did with Chauncey and those guys when they came in, or Mozzie when he came in. We need you to be the guy. You need to lead the way. Show these guys. They're not. These are young guys. But now we have those guys that are insulated in this locker room that can teach these guys. Jalen Thompson can teach Caleb Downs things, right? Caleb Downs is going to bring things that he knows, unique things that he knows too. He's a very smart, intricate young dude, but he's going to teach him some things, right? So the way we're set up, and the reason I said we don't need that at linebacker per se, is because of the scheme that we have in front of those guys, right? I think that they'll learn more faster with the reps that they need. And here's the caveat and the reason I say it, and then we can end the argument on whether or not, if you want an all-pro still, you can want what you want. But the reason I speak on it is this, right? If you were to have, let's say, Jordan Brooks here or Jack Campbell here and Demarion Overshawn, right? Or D Winters starting. Now you don't know what you have in Overshawn still, and this is a contract year for Overshawn. And then you may go into next season not knowing what you have in Jayshawn Barham either. And then the year after, right? You get 2 years down the road, you kind of forget what you got. And I know that's for a fact because we're 2 years down the road after Morris Leofau's draft. And now we kind of forgot what he was, right? We don't get to see the progress of what this player could have been had we not played around with the coaches, played musical chairs, kept switching our scheme, go from one scheme to another scheme to another. This destroys players and destroys progress, right? So that's all I'm saying I don't want to do when it comes to having an all-pro. It's not that I think that all-pros don't make teams better, but don't make it seem like schemes don't create all-pros either, right? The free agency moves, right? Our free agency moves is kind of weird because I think that they even won that. Like they said, hey, what's his name? Aubrey, you want $10 million? Okay. We're going to put you in the market. Go, if you know what you want, you know what you're worth, go out there and get what you're worth. What Rocky said, he said, but don't come out here pointing your finger at him or them. Cowards do that, and that ain't you. Remember that? Well, he let him go out there and try to get his deal. Jerry's fair with that. He came back for more like $7 million. Why? Because one, he understands the sales tax in Texas, number one. Number two, you're a family man to understand you don't want your family moving around like that. Because Jerry, like, man, you want to go get that money, go get it. But I'm not paying you $10 million for no damn kicker. All right. I think that's smart business. You don't just pay a guy. Like, come on, man. Just because the money there don't mean you pay it. That's the way I really think. Same thing with GP. Okay, we do have a chemistry dynamic in the locker room, meaning you got what's his name here? We got CD Lamb. Not what's his name, my bad, CD. But CD Lamb is here, and he is a top wide receiver in the league. Now, how fair do you think it would be if, right after we pay him, we come and pay George Pickens after one season, more than we pay CD. Obviously, because of the CBA, he's going to get paid more, but I don't think that's what Jerry and them are trying to do. Now, especially from a chemistry standpoint with their own team, the guys they've grown here at home. We saw the same thing with Amari Cooper, so on. They don't want to pay you if they didn't grow you necessarily, right? But they don't mind you earning it. And I think GP can say that he's earned something here. But the David Mulugeta conversation, which we're going to dig into in a minute, but that conversation to me is he's a agent that thinks that having the highest paid player at every position is what a win is. Sort of like a young guy that thinks that the more women I can have sex with, the bigger the man I am, or the more people I can beat up, the bigger the man I am. The more people I can drill and kill, the bigger the man. Yeah, that's a very egotistical or strange way of looking at how you approach your job, in my opinion. And I'm not an agent, but what I can say is I'm not slow either, right? I do understand that you dance with the chick who brung you, right? So if the Cowboys organization is what made you look the way you have over the last season, GP, and your relationship with Dak Prescott, it would behoove you to try to stay here, right? Not only that, but you also have agents who don't explain. They just say, hey, get as much as you can while you can. They don't explain what longevity means, right? Why do you think Tim Brown and Jerry Rice and those guys and Ray Lewis, why do you think those guys and Tom Brady, why do you think those guys can play for so long? It wasn't because they was trying always to be the highest. I don't even remember Ray Lewis arguing about being the highest paid player linebacker in the game. He probably was at some point, but I don't think it was about that. It was about legacy. It was about trying to stay somewhere where you make enough, yes, obviously, to do what you need to do, but build something that will keep you earning long after you stop playing ball. You could do that to Cowboys. Not only that, but you have endorsement deals that are in this market that you ain't going to have in Green Bay, Micah Parsons. You know what I'm saying? Also the tax, right? So there's different ways to look at a deal where, yes, it doesn't give you Mulugeta the narcissistic dopamine shot of being able to say, I got him the most money that anybody ever got at this position. Doesn't get you that, but it would get you a player that would have success here, meaning be able to vie for a Super Bowl or 2 or 3 or more. You get what I'm saying? Those types of things don't happen when you're playing sellsword or mercenary and your only job is to go to the highest bidder with no loyalty. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to jump into the chat real quick because I see a lot of y'all going off, and I do appreciate it. I like the fact that it doesn't seem like my stream is jumping too. So I guess jumping to Microsoft Edge worked because I don't hear anybody saying anything. So that's a good thing. But let's get into the chat real quick so that I don't get too far behind the chat, and then I'll pick up from this segment here, and we'll keep talking about the offseason moves we made, some of the missed opportunities as well. But yeah, man, I'm loving this offseason so far. I'm gonna go up to the top. Let me see what's up here. A lot of y'all talking to each other, which is a good thing. It's gonna help me get through here fast. All right, I'm still smooth, I do believe. Who said May 19th? Who that? Oh yeah. And you got the long little beard, Jones. So I guess that's a tourist thing. What's up, Cuts by Jones? You must be a barber. I need to cut my damn self. Look at me, man. I was supposed to see my barber today, but he ain't called me back for like 5 hours. So I guess he was busy. But yeah, I'll see him on Sunday. It's cool. All right, Sadiqa, I spoke to you earlier. Appreciate you earlier too, Sadiqa. This is Muted Pixelation. He said this draft was fantastic, and having the coaching we have now sets it off. I mean, we already covered it, but you already know, bro. I agree with you 100%. I haven't even gotten into the draft, but we have talked about the coaches, which is dope for sure. Jay Bryan, Akoye, do you think we have the personnel to show zero coverage looks and drop into 2 high looks, or is that too much pressure on Hooker? It is too much pressure on maybe Hooker. But I don't think Hooker plays in your. I think Hooker should not be in your base. Hooker should be in your nickel only. If I'm taking somebody off the field, it's going to be Hooker. I'm not taking Caleb Downs off the field ever. So if Caleb Downs is on my field, he's my starting free safety or strong safety, and have Jalen Thompson, same thing. They're both interchangeable to me because they both can do the same things. And if they're both on the field, we can do exactly what you're talking about, Jay Bryant. We can get down to the line of scrimmage. We already saw Jalen Thompson do it. I've shown clips of him lining up in the slot running deep middle. And we already seen plenty of evidence of Caleb Downs being able to do that as well. And yes, we can show zero coverage, mug the entire line of scrimmage, and they won't know what the hell we're doing. Showing zero pre-snap, but then running into position while staring the quarterback down is insane, especially with the type of pass rush we have and the type of confusion that would cause on the offensive line as well. You're going to have people running free and the ball coming out fast at the same time. Wild. That's wild. But that is good. That's not too much pressure, though, I think, on those two safeties. I think it is too much pressure on Hooker. I don't think Hooker's that guy. I think Hooker needs to be where he is. He's not slow, but I don't think he's a guy that's going to mug the line of scrimmage and then run deep middle and get there and make a play. I've seen those other two guys do it. So that would be a nice concept if we did it. I think if you're coming out in your base, though, and you have your four guys out there would be Bland, maybe Revel, or I would say you're starting four defensive backs. Your best four defensive backs is Kobe Durant, Bland, Caleb Downs, and Jalen Thompson. So if I'm starting in my 3-4 sets, or I'm not running that penny defense. When I say penny, I mean 5-1-5. If you run a 5-1-5, then you can still bring Hooker on the field. You can bring Marquise Bell on the field, or you can just keep Caleb Downs on the field and Hooker on the field at the same time. Then you could do it. But even still, I would bring Hooker into the box if I was doing that because he has more size. Number two, I still want Caleb Downs to be my single high guy in that type of look. But if you're playing that 5-1-5, you can still pull that off and still keep a strong front with those 5 down linemen. So a lot of different things you can do schematically, but I like it. I like where you're going with that for sure. All right. He said, I agree, Reezy. I like depth too now it's about scheme. Yeah, the depth is there. Everyone is a heady athletic player that they got. That's a fact. He said CP likes players who are violent. Everybody violent. That's for sure. That's for sure. What's up, Agent 9? He said we have to be violent and nasty on defense. Yeah, we already are. Man, Rashawn Gary, violent, nasty dude. Kenny Clark, been that way. Quentin Williams is that way. You know what I'm saying? Bullard, nasty. Agbo, nasty. I say Ezeraku is nasty, but he just undersized nasty. Sam Williams, nasty. Mean dude. You know what I'm saying? Morris Leofau, same thing. Mean dude. He'll break your face by mistake. He'll get you though. Barham, evil. D Winters is kind of like smooth, but he'll smack you though. You know, he'll smack you. Demarion Overshawn is a psycho. Revel's strong as hell. I think he's a nice kid, but he like John Coffey boss. Like he's just he's strong for no fucking reason. I was watching him press, just watching how he does press coverage. He didn't lose one rep, and that's the kudos to Revel. If he got his hands on you last season, I'm talking about every time he pressed a person, a wide receiver or a tight end, they didn't do jack shit, not one. And that's weird. He didn't get beat for a touchdown or anything. I don't think he gave up nothing. I got to look at it again, and y'all can challenge me if you want to, but I don't think he gave up shit in press at all. Every time he got in trouble was when he was playing off or zone or both, but not impressed. Not impressed. That boy's strong. So Revel nasty. Caleb Downs, you already know he's crazy. Jalen Thompson, same thing. Mean. Bland been that way. You know, Bland a physical dude too. Kobe Durant kind of smooth, but he ain't no sucker. You know what I mean? So whole defense is full of guys, full of players. They all want it. I like that. Speed and violence are good mixes for defense. Shout out to Reezy78. Reezy be holding me down too, man. Appreciate what you do in the comments, everything you do, man. All of y'all in the comments that be really holding it down. I really do appreciate it. Y'all make it so that I don't have to say as much. And my memberships are growing something crazy. I'll say that now that we're talking about it, but definitely take the time to become a member to the channel. All it is a half a cup of Starbucks coffee, man. That's what it costs you. It's $3.99. But the reason you do it is because videos like this and a lot of the breakdowns that you guys have been seeing, not only here, but on Twitter as well, are coming from these guys. Like, they're telling me what they want, and I go out. You already know it's a short turnaround because I'm down here anyway. So if I get a text or a call and you say, did you look at this player? I get the film and I go at it right then and there on the same day. So I appreciate it though. It's not even like I'm being told what to do or battery backed. I like it because it gives me a one-to-one relationship with what you guys want, and it keeps my hand on the pulse with what the fans want. But number two, sometimes I don't even know what I want to break down. I got so much content. I got a bunch of content that just I'm telling y'all, I watch a lot. I watch film like it's TV, and I save it. Like my uncle used to watch boxing. I see Felix Trinidad. I used to like Felix the Cat cartoons when I was a kid, little kid, and I used to see Felix all of that. Felix Trinidad. But I used to think of Felix the Cat when I seen Felix Trinidad. So I would always put Felix Trinidad tapes in VHS tapes because my uncle would just watch boxing. Every time he watched boxing, he recorded. Every time. Record over shit that you wanted to see and record boxing. I'm like that with football. I got film on top of film. I got film that I haven't even put out. A bunch of it. Like Lloyd. I got Brian Branch film. I got Devin Lloyd film. I got N'Kobe Dean film. I got Zach Bond film. A bunch of it. Because I just watch it. But when you guys come in and say what you want to see, it kind of prompts me to go into that database, into the Akashic records, and pull some shit out for you. You know what I mean? So I'll be needing that prompt. So I appreciate all the members who have joined, and I appreciate those to come too. Thank you. Just being able to tackle would be a plus. Yeah, that's a fact. Right now they need clicks, so watch out for the Parsons Pickens bashing headlines. I'm not going to bash Parsons. I'm not going to bash him, but we definitely have some headlines coming in regards to it. I will say this though. I do not like David Mulugeta, and honestly, I probably shouldn't say that because a friend of mine, very close friend of mine, is cousins with David Mulugeta. But nothing personal. I don't like his business. I don't like him attached to certain players because at the end of the day, I don't think that he has the best interest of the player at heart. People don't think that, but I think that because everybody's looking at, they kind of backdoored Jerry last year, and they're like, oh, Jerry tried to negotiate with Micah. Micah's a grown man. Micah tried to negotiate. If you say something to a owner and you guys start negotiating numbers, should you? If you don't think you should, you could just not do that, right? But if you've done that and then y'all come to an agreement on a certain frame, and then you take that frame and try to renegotiate from there, that is doing business in bad faith. And I think Jerry was pissed off behind that. That's why Micah isn't here. I don't think Jerry was ever lying about wanting to keep Micah. I think he would have kept him if it could have been a way of doing it where it could have been in both parties' best interest. And to be honest, that extra $7 million, that I think he got 42 versus 47. That extra $5 million a year wouldn't have mattered when you look at the tax that you're gonna get, the tax breaks that you get here in Dallas. So even though he got offered slightly more in Green Bay, he don't like Green Bay. I'm pretty sure he don't like Green Bay, and I know the endorsements ain't the same. It's not the same market. So I think that the way Mulugeta went about it with Parsons last year shows the type of mindset that he has and the way he plays, right? Even going on to ESPN, it's like, what Suge Knight say? All in the videos. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I just didn't like that. I look at him as a guy that's like out for himself, not for the player, because you can't tell me that the Micah Parsons trade was the best thing for Micah. Ask his knees. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that was the best move for Micah Parsons, to be honest with you. But who am I? I'm another grown man letting another grown man do what the hell he want to do with his life. I'm not his dad. You know what I mean? But I will say, I just looking at it from the outside looking in, that was a bad move. And then going, looking at the same thing happening with Pickens right now. Bad move. I don't think that's the best move. And then you see Overshawn hiring him. Well, what are you hiring him for? Do you think that you're going to get a blockbuster linebacker deal, even if you ball out this year? This will be 1 year. They're going to use that to get your injuries against you. But this will be your 1 year that you've played a full season. If you do, hopefully you do, knock on wood. But this will be your 1 year that you played a full season. And, then you want to go out and get Mulugeta for what? You know what I'm saying? To try to leverage whatever you do this year against the Dallas Cowboys and try to, see how much you can get. I don't think that's going to work for you when you look at Barham coming in here and so on, right? So I don't think he's advising his guys to the best of his ability. So when you say, Parsons and Pickens is going to be some headlines coming, they're probably already on their way. But I don't see where those moves made sense for me. I don't see it. And it's not because I'm a Cowboy fan. I think that everybody should remain with the team forever. There's plenty of guys that leave. I didn't want Wanye Thomas to leave, but I understood it. because I said, hey, when you got your opportunity to shine last year, you got migraines every time. You know what I'm saying? We all know about migraines at inopportune times, and nobody likes those. You know what I'm saying? Every husband in the building and in the chat know all about the migraine. You got a migraine? You know what I'm saying? Not hating on him. He probably really do got migraines. But at the end of the day, come on, bro. Come on, bro. That was your time. That was Wanye time. I stopped screaming Wanye after that. Not that I was mad at him, but I'm like, when you got your opportunity, you had migraines, bro. That was your opportunity. You had two safeties injured last year, Hooker and Wilson. You could have played in both their spots and had all those snaps. I kept seeing Marquise Bell out there because you had migraines. You know what I'm saying? So I ain't complaining about him leaving. You know what I mean? They don't want Jerry Jones on top. They're good marginalizing his good decisions. I would agree with that. I would agree. Thanks, Sadiqa. What's going on, Sneed DT? Let's see what else we got. So at what point do they admit that trading Parsons was a good idea? They won't. I don't think people are ever going to admit that until we win a Super Bowl or until we get past the divisional round. That's what the fans want. They're not going to stop until they get it. And I respect it, but I still have to look at what I'm looking at. I can see, I got to be the observer. You know what I mean? I'm outside of this looking at it all, and I see that it was a good move, very good move. It was like the best trade that I've seen the Cowboys have. Second best, maybe first, because Caleb Downs, man, I don't know if Downs came from that trade, but I know Malachi Lawrence did. You know what I'm saying? So Quentin Williams and Kenny Clark. If you just said, listen, Rashawn Gary's here because of Micah Parsons. He ain't want to be over there with Micah. I ain't gonna speak for the man, but it don't sound like a lot of people like the bull over there. You know what I'm saying? So either way, he ain't want to be over there. He over here. You know what I mean? Rashawn Gary, we got Green Bay's last 2 seasons their interior. The line that was whooping our ass. He whooped Joe Lewis's ass, right? The line that was beating our ass and getting us off the field was Kenny Clark and Rashawn Gary and company, right? Now they over here. You know what I'm saying? So even Christian Parker could have went over there. Why do you think he chose not to? You know what I'm saying? People ain't paying attention, man. People not paying attention. We got rid of the cancers in our locker room. Parsons, Diggs, those guys were not leaders. Weren't leaders. You know what I'm saying? So, I can keep going. But let's go. Let me go through the comments. Jay Bryant, likely never, bruh. Dallas gets deep in the playoffs. It's going to be due to luck or opposing teams, bad schedule. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of that. Mm-hmm. He said, so far, morale seems good, too. This year feels different. I feel different. I'm in the best shape I've been in a long time, man. Been in the gym all crazy. I feel good. So the morale do feel good, like the energy. You know what I'm saying? Energy feel good. D-Law jumping in the B-gap, Micah refusing to play linebacker, and Bell getting punished because of it is a fact. That was all crazy. I feel like this is the start of something great for the Cowboys. I feel you muted, Pixelation. There's been a lot of whining about the trade, even from some smart people. I'm tired of that. I want this season to put that to rest. Dude was cosplaying as a leader to get a contract. Yeah, he's not a leader. You can tell by the post-draft interview when he was talking to Mekhi Lemonade, and they tried to make it seem like that was light, but it's just I don't know. That was very immature. Very immature. Like I said, shout out to him. Hope him a speedy recovery. But I'm not mad that he's gone. When people ask me what I think of Jay Sean Barham, I think that he's the linebacker that we should have made Micah be. You know what I'm saying? A guy that can destroy the run from off ball, that's good enough to have some success in the passing downs, both off ball and on ball, and can blitz his ass off, and a running back, a tight end, and a guard in space cannot do shit with him. That's what I think Barham is. Do I think Micah Parsons could have been better or should have been better at it than he is? Yeah, he could have been, but he wasn't. But you see how the league goes, right? It's a copycat league. We saw how Trayvon Diggs was an interception machine. Everybody wanted to go get one, right? And build a former receiver into a DB. Now we got a bunch of linebackers who can blitz and do a bunch of other stuff for us to cover, blitz. You see Sonny Styles is a hybrid. Jay Sean's a hybrid. Arvo Reese is a hybrid. Gold Day's a hybrid. Hill Jr., they try to say is a hybrid. I think he's just a linebacker that's a slasher. But you get what I mean, though. You know what I mean? So It is what it is. It is what it is. Well, now he role playing as hurt. We're not gonna keep giving dude tick. Our focus on who at the star. Yeah, we focus on who at the star. Yeah, I believe it. Yeah, Parker's not tolerating me, ball Reezy. I'm also tired of the D Law praise. They forgot about the selfish, stupid plays D Law got on the team and played in rotation. He was a rotational piece who didn't kill his team chasing sacks. Yeah, that's true. He wasn't chasing sacks when he got over there. He went over there and played structured football. All right. He was here chasing sacks, but that was never going to be it. What they start winning, Jerry temper his desires to be a coach again. Yeah, I think he needed to. All right, let me see. Y'all got a lot more down here. So he said we got robbed for the best of Jalen Smith before he steps into the league. Barham is nothing like Jalen Smith was before the injury or after. Yeah, Jalen Smith was whoa before he got injured. If you play like you played look at how he played after the injury. And think about Jalen Smith, even if after injury, he would have been playing behind this front where he don't have to shed blocks almost every play on that knee. Jalen Smith would have he would have been a problem even in that. But I'm gonna get back to the conversation. I'll come back to the chats a little later because y'all going so heavy in there. It's kind of taking me off rap, but I'm about 10 minutes into your comments and y'all are asking great questions and saying great things in there though. So keep that up. Damn, I almost caught you, little mother. I think I almost caught a mosquito on this joint. All right. Again, we talked about key traits, positions of focus. Okay. Since we were on it anyway. Positions of focus. Like we haven't focused on defensive interior line, right? Because we have so many veterans there. I think we knew that we were secure going in. Corner. I think we thought we needed corner more than Christian Parker thought. I think we needed. I think he looked at it like we need a nickel guy that's dynamic, which he has now, or a safety, or just a playmaker at DB. If that playmaker ended up being Mansour Delane because Downs wasn't here, I think we would have done that, and then we would have adjusted by going and getting a Keontae Scott or someone else, a linebacker or a safety that could play some of the nickel responsibility, and we would have done it with both players that way. But because we got the player that we wanted, we know on the interior and near the line of scrimmage. So that means hook the flat and deep middle is all, up for grabs for Caleb Downs at this point. That makes it easier for your corners to play ball on the outside because they know they got help inside, not only from those linebackers like D Winters and D Mo who have range, but that triangle in the middle of the field is a dangerous spot to throw the ball for a quarterback because number one, you got to trust what you saw pre-snap, which you can't. And you got to trust that those guys up front, you got a 5-man front and not a 4-man front. You need to understand a lot of things stepping up to the line of scrimmage as a quarterback now against these guys, right? So what was missing going into the draft, which people not talking about, we made a lot of progress very fast. And we did this last year too. I said it before. We didn't have a second receiver. We went and got a second receiver and George Pickens after the draft. We didn't have a replacement for Zach Martin. We went and got in the draft. We went and got Booker, who I think is going to be doing quite well and filling those shoes. And then we running back. They didn't like the running back. They didn't like Javonte Thomas. We need Javonte Williams. We need another running back. Oh no, we can't go in the season with this bull. I heard of and don't let the content creators see. They all try to, not just the content creators, some of the reporters too. They all try to like bullshit this shit and sweep it under the rug. But a lot of guys were talking shit about Javonte like he wasn't it. Like we need another one. Oh man, Javonte. We talk like he was just a guy, like he's just here. No, he had a season that lets you know who he really is, right? Now they act like that wasn't a thing, and then they moved on to the next complaint, right? Well, this year they're complaining, and they were complaining about middle linebacker. Everybody wants an all-pro. Everybody wants Jordan Brooks. Everybody wants Jack Campbell. And we had holes there. It was only Demarion Overshawn. He was oft injured, and they say oft injured. He's been injured last season. He was injured a year before that, right? Okay. All right. I'll give you that. He wasn't even injured last season. He injured the year before last, but it fed into last season. So he's missed games because his injuries that he had in season bled into the next season. Well, when you look at Demarion Overshawn's oft injured self, right? I think that the last 2 seasons straight, Parsons has been injured too. Is he oft injured? Is he injury prone? Understand that, just because people bring that up. But beyond that, when you look at the other positions next to him, we didn't have anybody in there. I don't think Shamar James is it, and they moved Morris Leofile to the outside, right? So since then, look at what they've done. The 5th round pick for D. Winters, amazing trade. D. Winters was worth, if he was in today's draft, being a young guy that's only 24, 25. If he was drafted today and we were looking at his San Fran film as his TCU film, even though his TCU film is good, we would have been like, damn, that's a 2nd round guy. We would have been looking at him as better than Trotter. Trotter went 2nd, 3rd round. He would have said he's better than Trotter. We would have said he's better than Hill Jr. I would have said that. Why? Because he's smart on the field. You can see that he's smart on the field. He can do the things that you like as far as slashing in there and stopping the run, shooting gaps. But he's not just a play forward guy. He's a guy that can assess things moving backwards. One guy tried to tell me that he wasn't a coverage linebacker, and I'm like, "Are you sick?" I watched the mic'd up conversation that Phillip Rivers had after that game where he got that pick 6 against San Fran. San Fran got that pick 6 against Indy last year. Phillip Rivers don't even know who 53 is. He said, "Hey, where's 53 at?" That's what he said. Why? Because he knew that 53, not only, it wasn't just a play like a lucky play. He said, "Hey, man, did you remember that play from the check?" He said, I did. I saw you did it early in the game on the other side, and then you just flipped it. So I knew where you was going with the ball. He said, "I thought so." He said, "Man, great play, man." They talked, and it was like, that's showing respect, because that's when you understand things, that he understands things at a very high level. So getting that type of mind in the 5th round, come on, man. Come on, give Jerry and them their credit for that. Y'all can say I'm what they say, glazing. You can say I'm pumping them up. I'm a hype job, all that good shit. But that's a smart ass move right there, man. And then even Curtis Robinson, who I think is a Stanford standout linebacker, number 59 from the 49ers, I also think is a starting quality linebacker. And I haven't even done my breakdown on him, but I liked him already. So, okay, those guys are in your linebacker room. Those 3 right there, Demo, Curtis Robinson, and D. Winters, they could start. But do you stop there? No, the Cowboys went, and everybody was talking about Arvar Reese, Sonny Styles. We want those hybrids. They got the length. They got the RAS score. Look at their athletic score. Look at what he did at the combine. You know what I'm saying? Sonny Styles, 9.8 RAS score. Crazy. That's high as fuck, right? Oh, the closest thing to that after that was Hill Jr. and Galladay, right? They was 9.5 or somewhere in there, right? Because they were looking at those guys as linebackers, right? Okay. Then you say Arvar Reese, perfect 10 RAS score. But what was his Wonderlick? They ain't talk about that. But Arvar Reese, I've been listening to him in some of his interviews, and it's not the brightest bulb in the ball, or brightest ball in the bulb. See, that's how I look when he interviewed too. He don't know what to say. I'm like, oh shit. And I said the same thing. My pet cat, so I'm not being biased. My pet cat didn't sound real good when I heard him speak either. That was Harold Perkins. I said, "Oh, Harold, that's how you talk ball?" Now that don't mean you don't understand what's happening on the chalkboard, but I know you can't articulate what's happening, so you ain't communicating. I didn't want Arvo Reese as my mic. I knew that. Not my green dot guy. He's an athlete, and I think he's gonna end up being more of a pass rusher than a linebacker because of his acumen. You don't gotta believe me, but that's what I think. Now, I wish him a great career, but when you look at Barham and you look at the guy that we did get, he had a RAS score of 8.8, right? And he had a RAS score of 8.8 because he's a 6'3", 4 kind of guy. He was like a Romello Height type of guy, undersized defensive end like Benito, So obviously his RAS score, when they measure his hands, they're measuring it in comparison to other defensive ends. When they do any combine measurement, any athletic score is all measured against other defensive ends. They weren't measured against other linebackers. You know what his RAS score was? I think somebody gave me this one too. But what his RAS score was when you change his position to linebacker, it jumped to a 9.6. So that means he was top three in athleticism as a linebacker. I don't care about the 4.6 because he don't really run a 4.6 on the field, and that's because he's smart. He gets it fast, sort of like Jacob Rodriguez. He's a 4.5, 4.6 guy. They ran the same 40. Why they both play fast as fuck on film? Because they not slow players, meaning they're not stupid players. They know what's happening. They know what's happening. When you look at the Oklahoma game that I broke down of Jay Sean, what was he doing? Jay Sean was peeping game. He see certain things. He's just destroying shit. When his reads and his keys versus the run, you can trick him if you know what his keys are. Meaning you could do other things off of that because you know what he's reading. But if you just straight up pull and trap and you run just normal football, oh, he reading shit and he there instantly. He there. He teleporting into the gap. So having that linebacker room now as opposed to what we had going into the offseason, people are still complaining because they're like, they're treating these guys like they're just names. I just gave you an in-depth kind of overview of what our linebacker room looked like. Y'all got to stop growling over there. Y'all ain't even got nothing to growl about. You know what I mean? Suck the nipple and shut up, man. Thank you. Look at him. Can y'all hear them? They tearing their mom up. I feel bad for her, man. She over there. She mad. She don't like it, but she dealing with it. I try to keep her off them. She be trying to correct them like they too young to be corrected, but she try to do it anyway. I'll let y'all see some of them if y'all haven't from before. I'll bring them into the show a little bit later, or some of them. But for those who don't know, my Kango had puppies. That's what I'm talking about. When I'm talking about the nipples, I'm not talking about a person. I ain't talking about a person. You know what I'm saying? I gotta make sure I say that because people start talking crazy about me. But linebacker was the biggest hole that we had. We addressed the fuck out of that, in my opinion, in a great way, in a real way. You know what I'm saying? Defensive back, like I said, we got a playmaker at every level in this draft in the first 3 rounds. Malachi Lawrence, a playmaker on the edge or from the edge, and he doesn't have to come in here and be a savior. You got Ezra Rocco in front of him. You got Rashawn Gary, who's already the guy. You get what I'm saying? And then you got guys like Sam Williams and Leofau. Those guys are going to come in and get some spot work if Leofau makes his team. And I don't think he should stay personally. I think he should want to go at this point because both rooms, linebacker and outside linebacker, are too crowded for him at this point. Not his fault, but shit happens. That's why I don't like progress stoppers, though, or injuries early in the young player's career. But when you look at what we've done, we've added playmakers at all 3 levels of the game. Well, really 4, because you look at a playmaker. I count Devin Moore as a playmaker too, and I look at him as a tall corner that's twitchy, that can get in and out of his breaks quickly. So good length, good strength. I think he's smart, but again, he's not before we would be looking at this guy like, can he start right now? We need him, like we tried to do Revel last year, right? We don't need to do that. He went out and got Kobe Durant, and now we have Bland and Durant. If Bland's feet are fine and Durant is fine, Revel don't even need to start. I think Josh Butler back too. You know what I'm saying? Like, so we got some guys, man, and we got playmakers at every level. They've addressed it at every level of the defense. Even when you look at the interior defensive line, Overton being a fourth round pick, I think it was 4th round. Overton, if you're looking at him as a defensive end that's supposed to be a pass rusher, you ain't gonna like him. If you look at him as another Bullard or another Ogbo, I love him. Overton is right where he need to be in this type of scheme. He's starting caliber, but he ain't a guy that you got to come in here and say, hey, we need you to start day 1. We just need you to rotate in and learn from these guys. And in a year or 2, you're going to be a gun. You're going to be a gun. So I can't think of any draft that I've ever been old enough to remember that has been this good from the Cowboys. And I gave them a B-. That was because it was like an emotional trigger in the beginning, or B+, I said. And they said, well, why was it a B+, Okoye? It's because Jay Sean, I didn't know what they were doing with Jay Sean quite yet. When I graded the draft, I looked at him as a tweener that I didn't look at all of his linebacker footage yet. And when I said that, but once I looked at it, I said, oh, no. They can go ahead and get their A. You can say A+, whatever you want, but they get their A. Malachi Lawrence, same thing. I hadn't looked into his film and saw the big paws in the pup. I still think he's somewhat developmental, but when you look at who he's teamed with and the responsibility or lack thereof that he's going to have, when was the last time you got a 1st round pick that you didn't really need to come in and be your savior? We tried to make Mozzie our savior, and that's what happened with that. Put too much pressure on the young man. You know, you look at Caleb Downs. He's not asked even to be your free safety. We got three veterans ahead of you if we want. PJ Locke, even 4 if Marquise Bell's still here. But we got PJ Locke, Marquise Bell. They all got plenty of playing time. You got Hooker and you got Jalen Thompson. We don't need you to go in that room and be like, I'm taking over the safety room. We just need you to man up this nickel position right now and then grow into the safety. Learn from those guys and then grow into the safety role as you go. We don't need you to be our savior, bro. Just work your area. Just work that spot. Do your job. That's it. We haven't had that. Malachi Lawrence, we don't even need you to start, buddy. The 23rd pick in the draft, we don't need you to start. When the last time we did that? Our 3rd round pick, Jay Sean Barham, good enough to start. If he was a linebacker, he would have been a 2nd round guy, a late 1st round guy. You wouldn't have been mad at that, right? If he was playing linebacker. We don't need you to start. D. Winters and Demo can start. Curtis Robinson can start. Shit, Morris Leofold can start over you if we needed him to. We just need you to come in, learn the game. Learn the game and do your thing, right? Stay healthy, stay focused, keep your eyes open, keep them peeled. That's at every position. None of those guys need to start, but they all could start if you needed them to. That is growth and depth that we haven't done here in a long ass time, man. So when I'm looking at that, I want y'all to make sure y'all paying attention to the things that people keep ignoring. We already went over the Parsons conversation in that trade. People keep ignoring the fact that Jerry hit the fucking home run with that trade. And they hit a home run with this draft. They hit a home run with the coaching staff, you know what I'm saying, that they went and picked up. They're doing things that we have not done, and we're getting better and better. And then even when you look at undrafted free agents, you know, the kid Trigg, I heard Trigg is here, and he's a beast. But our undrafted free agents, I haven't heard people make that much noise about undrafted free agents before, except for that African dude, Eura, whatever his last name is, man. I wanted him here. I think we already got a foreign player, though. Somebody told me that, but I would have took him in a heartbeat. That dude's a problem. 6'5". He said, what Richard Pryor say? I don't know if y'all know about Richard Pryor, but it's a dude named Allwell. He's like, I'm Allwell beat up all the cops. He said, I'm 6'5", 245. Oh man. He said, remember that guy, that crazy nigga last year that beat up the 5th precinct? That was me. That's that boy from Africa, man. That boy is a problem. He's fucking shit up. But I would have took him in a heartbeat. All well, you know what I mean? 6'5", 306, run a 4.5, a 4.6. Can't change direction on them knees though. I wouldn't try to change no direction. You're going every ligament in that joint gonna pop. But he is Nigerian though, so I'm like, when I say he is Nigerian, I don't mean that to be smart. I'm saying it like, I look at him as a guy that's like, he hasn't played no American football, and he's not Nigerian like I'm 1st generation American. No, he's Nigerian, straight up. You know what I mean? So it's going to be a while before he actually turns into what he could be. But the big pause on that pup is a problem. You know what I'm saying? Trades that we missed. People were mad about the Devin Lloyd trade. When I look at Devin Lloyd's film, I've taken a deep dive into Lloyd's footage, and I like him a lot. But I do think that the guys that we have here with this scheme can give us the things that you missed. I really do. I think they're twitchier too. Devin Lloyd's, he's just stout. Like he's like a big country, like his name is the Brickashaw. You know what I'm saying? Like, but he's a linebacker though. I give him that. But I do think we have linebackers here that can give us what we need. So not mad about the miss on Devin Lloyd, to be honest with you. I'm not. Nakobe Dean, 5'11", 225, coverage guy, wasn't always healthy. Could start here. Could be a guy that could slash, can blitz very well, smart player. Well, I think that D. Winters is the clone that they were looking for in Dean. Not saying that he's just like Dean. I think they both have similar skills, though. Twitchy guys that can get in and out of their breaks when they're covering. He can do it. Can blitz real well. He can do it. Smart. He's that guy. You know what I'm saying? And we already seen the clone to Zach Bond. So I'm not mad that we missed that free agent play. You know what I'm saying? Or that free agent signing. You know what I'm saying? When you look at Jordan Brooks, 6 foot, 240, stout, mean, you know what I'm saying? But played in the scheme, played in the 3-4 scheme in Miami where I don't think Miami's looking at him like he's an all pro that's worth the money that they're going to have to pay him. Why? They went out. Look at what they did. They went out and got Kyle Lewis. Miami was killing it in the draft, but they got Kyle Lewis and J-Rod on the same fucking team. Okay, so it tells you what they're not trying to do at linebacker moving forward, which is pay all pro out the nose to come and do something that they know their scheme is producing. When you have a 3-4 scheme or a 5-man front scheme, it creates, especially one that is as intricate as Marcus Dixon's. When you see those penny fronts, those 5-1-5 fronts, things like that, that allow you to, blanket the back end of the defense with 5 defensive backs, whether that's 4 corners and 1 safety, 3 safeties, 3 and 2 corners, however you want to run that penny, and 1 linebacker on the field. When you have those types of fronts, those fronts are responsible for those 5-man fronts are responsible for holding the entire offensive line, so that linebacker, they funnel everything to that linebacker so he can get that 180 tackles and that all pro status. I showed that already in the last 4 years. Marcus Dixon's every team he's played for have done it with bums. Alex Singleton is not a great linebacker. He's good, not great. He ain't great, but he looked great. He played better than the greats in both seasons he was with Marcus Dixon. Okay. Fred Warner had 130 tackles that year. He had 163, beating by 33 tackles. Same stats. Roquan Smith, same thing. Roquan Smith had 169 tackles. He had 163. These are the all pros for the 2022 season. Matt Milano, 2022, had 99 tackles. He had 163. Alex Singleton with Denver, first year. And then Josie Jewell only played 14 games and had 128. All right, he would have had 160 had he played 17. So when the last time you seen 2 middle linebackers on the same team get 160 tackles or average 10 tackles a game each? I ain't seen that shit. That's the scheme. Then you say, all right, well, that might have been a fluke. Josie Jewell left. He went to Carolina, and then I think he retired now, but he went to Carolina. Well, what did Alex Singleton do the next year? 177 in 2023. Check these numbers. Check the all pros that year too. Quincy Williams, 139 tackles. He beat him. In tackles for loss too. Roquan Smith that year, 5 tackles for loss. He had 6. Alex Singleton. Roquan Smith had 158 tackles that second year. He had 177. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Fred Warner was all pro in 2023 too. 132 tackles. You know what I'm saying? He had 177. You know what I'm saying? So why is it? And then Alex Singleton didn't make no Pro Bowls for none of that. And he was putting up Pro Bowl numbers for sure. But why? Because of the scheme. And Denver knew too. So did the rest of the league. They said, hey, man, that scheme would make it easy to play linebacker. So he leaves and he goes to Minnesota, Marcus Dixon, that is. And then Blake Cashman suddenly, same results. Blake Cashman, and then they were running Penny the whole season. So Josh Metellus was your second linebacker. What did he have? 110 tackles at 5'11", 208, playing behind that 5-man front that kept him clean. You know what I'm saying? 2025. What happened that year? Well, Blake Cashman had 144 tackles to the all-pro Jordan Brooks's 183 tackles. But Jordan Brooks played all 17 games. Blake Cashman played 13 games with 144 and was averaging 11 to 12 tackles a game and missed 4 games. So he's averaging 12. You know what I'm saying? He missed 48 tackles basically that he could have got had he played the 4 more games. You get what I'm saying here? He would have had over 190 tackles. He was averaging. He was on pace to get 190 tackles in a season. Blake Cashman was. Blake Cashman. Who the fuck is that? So when I say we don't need an all-pro, it's because I've been seeing a coach create all-pro results every season. Who played next to Blake Cashman last year? Eric Wilson. Look up his stats. I've done this over and over again. Eric Wilson had 115 tackles last year. He had all-pro season last year too. 115 tackles, 6.5 sacks, and I forgot how many pass breakups. I think he had like 4 or 5 pass deflections, 17 tackles for loss, 10 QB hits. If that was Micah Parsons, who was playing middle linebacker like he should have been, and you were like, these are his stats, and he had 7 to 8 sacks from the middle linebacker position, 17 tackles for loss, 10 QB hits, a bunch of pressures, and pass breakups. Y'all, I'm like, damn, that's all pro worthy. Well, who the fuck is Eric Wilson? He's a 9-year journeyman, nobody linebacker who really had trouble bringing guys to the ground. When you watch the film, he just running free to the ball. You know what I mean? Like going with the wind. He was just there with it. So when I say we don't need an all pro, not saying I wouldn't take one, but we don't need one because this scheme affords you the ability to create one. So let's prove that. Let's prove it. Can't prove it if you go get an all pro, because you can say, well, he's all pro because he's an all pro. No. We're going to make one. I guarantee you the stats, if they stay healthy, those guys are going to be running free to the ball and eating. We don't need one to come in here. That's the truth. It's not because of my feelings at all. Got nothing to do with my feelings. Because if I looked at it and I said, damn, this scheme ain't going to give us that, I would say we need one too. I would be right with y'all. Why do you think I'm not with you on it? You know what I'm saying? But like I said, draft overview we went through, but I look at all those guys. That's how I view the draft. When you got an A grade in the draft and none of who has to start? Was it Shelton? Is that the offensive tackle? He ain't starting. Devin Moore, he ain't starting. He don't need to start. Barham ain't starting. Smith ain't starting. Malachi Lawrence ain't starting. Caleb Downs is going to start at nickel. Did a little bit. You know what I'm saying? But we got an A grade on the draft, and none of those guys have to start. They just have to contribute. That's a testament to what the front office has already done prior to the draft and in or around the draft to rebuild this damn team. How many people saying that? That's wild. And not saying that they couldn't start. That's the difference. They could definitely start, but they don't need to start. Caleb Downs don't even need to start. You could have made Bland play nickel, Revel play outside corner, Kobe Durant play outside corner, Hooker play free safety, Jalen Thompson play strong safety. You got PJ Locke and he could not see the field, and you'll be like, we could start with that starting lineup right there and win games too. So having a guy that we say is going to wear a gold jacket or could be one of the best players at his position by the time it's all said and done, not even have to rely on him or have to start. Amazing. Give them their credit. Give them their credit now, because if we lose during the season or some other shit happen, y'all gonna take it away. Y'all gonna run away with that. I already know how y'all go. You know what I mean? Identity. So when we was talking about that, we got the players, we got the depth. Now we talking identity. I think I kind of explained what the defensive scheme direction is already. But if you must know, when you look at it this way, and you got your 2 high safety looks, I said this earlier and I say it again. Those 5 guys up front, their job is to stop the run. The only thing the linebacker's job is to do is, one, patrol the middle of the field, and then he's really like your midfield safety, meaning his job is to erase whatever sneaks through that wall. Whatever comes through the wall, he's playing whack-a-mole. Whatever, you remember whack-a-mole, you hit the little moles that come up at the carnival and shit. That's what the linebackers do in this scheme. Anything that squeezed through, you smack that shit. That's your job. That's it. Read the pulling guards, the traps, the tackles, so on, and smack some shit that get through that wall that we've built. But they built a pretty solid wall. Like, think about this, and I don't think people are thinking about it. I haven't seen this before. I don't even know the team that I could name. Maybe some of the Ravens teams with Ray Lewis, Haloti Ngata. I don't know if they played together, but Haloti Ngata, Tony Siragusa, Peter Bullware, these guys can stop the run all across the board. Suggs can stop the run, but all on the same team at the same time. These guys are just stretching across eras, right? Think about this. On their teams, respectively, on any given year, Bullard, when he played for Minnesota, when he played for the Saints last year, wherever Bullard is gone, he was the best run stopper on the line. He was the run stopping guy. You know what I'm saying? And then everyone else just did their job, but he was the best one. Agbo on those Chargers teams, he was their best two gapping run stopper on that team, the best. Neither one of those dudes need to start on this team. Kenny Clark was the best in Green Bay, meaning these are guys that the offenses don't want to run at. Now then it was just one of them on the team. Well, with Green Bay, you had Kenny Clark and you had Rashawn Gary. Don't run at either one of those guys, right? But now they both on the same fucking team. With Quinnen Williams, you don't want to run at him either. With Agbo, you don't want to run at him either. With Bullard, you don't want to run at none of those guys. How you got a whole front seven or front eight? It's like 8 of them motherfuckers. Maybe it's deep. You got Morris Leafau. You don't want to run at him. You got even Ezeraku was solid versus the run, man. That's what he did do well last year. So you got Ezeraku, Leafau, Bullard, Agbo, Quinnen Williams, Kenny Clark, Rashawn Gary. That's 7 deep. And if you want to throw Sam Williams in there, you could. I wouldn't throw him in there. I think he's a hustle player when it comes to the run, but he's not a guy that you don't want to run at. But you got 7 that's in that front 5, or front 7, or front 5, the front 5 rotation. Oh, no. You know, you got 8. Overton. You got 8. You don't want to run at none of them. None of them. But they all one-on-one now. They're not just one guy on a team. That's what I'm trying to tell y'all. Y'all looking at, if you look at their stats and you look at their film, you got to realize their film is amongst guys that are relying on them to be that one staple. Just like DeMarcus Lawrence was like that when he was here. He was like, don't run the DeMarcus Lawrence side, but you can run at Osa, right? But now it's DeMarcus Lawrence level. Then it's, remember we had Hankins and DeMarcus Lawrence? Don't run at Hankins. Don't run at Lawrence. But you can run at Micah. You can run at Osa. There was some holes in the wall, right? Ain't no fucking holes in this wall, dog. Not one. And they all one-on-one because it's 5 of them. So you're going to need to bring 6. You got to bring you know why there's been so many jumbo packages and double tight ends and 12 personnel and 13 personnel on the field? Because when you see 2 high safety, you say, let's run at those looks. Why? Because they're light in the box. Because their safety's up there. Let's make them bring that safety down here. Well, that safety, since we talking scheme, that safety ain't got to come down here, bro. He can come mug the line of scrimmage if he want to, but he ain't got to come down here. And there's other ways to do it where when you come into, you got a light box where we're not in a 5-man front. You're in like your NASCAR, your nickel package. Now you bring the safeties down. So the safeties now don't look like they're too high. They're down, but they're really high. You don't know what the fuck they're doing. So they can still stop the run because they right at the line of scrimmage. They discourage you from running and they force you to throw the ball, but they shooting out there because they fast enough and rangy enough to do that. So we covering the run both ways. We either discourage you from running when we have a light box by bringing our safeties down. You don't want to run because you're like, everybody's mugging the line of scrimmage. It looks like it's open out there. It looks like zero coverage, like you said, Jay Bryant. So we could throw it over their heads, right? You can't. So now you're going to check out of a run when you see those type of looks, right? But you're also going to confuse your offensive line blocking assignments. So now it's going to be guys running free at you, right? Okay. So you already cooked there, right? And I think because this stream is looking sturdy, I was thinking about pulling some film in, but I don't know. I'm gonna just let it do what it's doing for right now because the stream is balanced. You know, my service has been acting crazy. I don't know why, but it seemed like it's been balanced today. So good, finally. But anyway, so we encourage you to throw the ball when you probably should run, and we encourage you to run the ball when you probably should throw. Meaning when our safeties is back, you probably got a better chance of throwing the ball than you do running it because those 5 guys up front is smacking that. Even the weakest guys up front versus the run is not weak because you got, let's say you got your base formation or your base 5. You got Bullard out there. It take 2 to block him. You can't block him with 1. You got Quinnen Williams out there. Can't block him with 1. You got Kenny Clark out there. You can't block him with 1. So those 3 require 6. That's your tight end and your whole offensive line right there, just occupied on 3 guys. And then you got fucking Rashawn Gary over there. You can't even block him with a tight end, but you're going to have to. That ain't going to work. That ain't going to work, dog. I don't give a fuck what y'all talk about. Rashawn Gary is smacking shit. So this year, I can't wait for him to get on the field. Then you got Ezeraku on the other side. What are you going to block him with? You already ran out of tight ends. What you about to block him with? Get what I'm saying? So that ball gonna be coming out fast and hot. Those guys on the back end they're gonna eat on early downs if you try to throw the ball on early downs. If you run, it don't fucking matter. It don't matter. So that's just some food for thought. Y'all could do the dishes, man, on that part. But let me come down and see. I'm getting back into the chat real quick. I went on my monologue for a nice little minute, but that's really how I'm feeling right now. You know what I mean? No joke. No joke. Let's see what we talking about. All right, here we go. He said at Jay Bryant, good he got his ring. However, stealing food when he had his own plate is out of pocket. Yeah, he was jumping B gaps, doing whatever he wanted to do. Everything is cyclical in life, and perhaps Jerry can go out like Jerry started. Hopefully. I mean, it's a new age, a new era. I'm feeling like new money, so maybe Jerry is too. Who knows? Yeah. What do you say? I guess I got my swagger back. Mommy, they say I killed the man. That's how I feel, man. Swagger is back. Cowboys looking different. Looking different. Facts. This D line will allow these linebackers time and opportunities to grow up. Facts. I think that what they want is to win, and maybe Pickens will take less to meet them in the middle. Yeah, that's what they'll try to do. I'll get into that real quick while we on it. The era of smart decisions from players, I think it's over because NIL is destroying the draft. NIL, man. This bull was like, hey, the 49ers got older in the draft. How the fuck you get older? Because the average draft pick was like 25. They got older in the draft. It's wild, man. That's hard to do. So think about that, though. NIL is making guys go back to school because they're getting money anyway. I don't blame them. Get them. You gonna make a millionaire and you ain't guaranteed to even get drafted. Go ahead, do what you gotta do. Do what you gotta do, and then get drafted later, maybe. But you got a lot more seniors coming out, which is overall good for the players because they're gonna now be college graduates by the time they get into the league. Most of them, meaning they're gonna have mature bodies as well. They might not get broke up so easy. Like what's his name, Kajana Carter. Remember him? He got hurt his first snap for the Bengals. You know what I mean? So back in the day, but there's a lot of guys that was like that though. But my point though is when I say smart players. Okay, Isaac Bruce and Torrey Holt. They ain't never try to leave each other. They ain't try to go nowhere. They're trying to stay together. Why? Because they understood they fed off of each other. They was gonna have the stats to get that gold jacket and to make money from whatever they chose to do, whether it be coaching or anything else. Their credibility is through the roof because of the type of numbers that they were going to put up together. Yep. Guys back in the day would stay with the quarterback that made them do their thing. Michael Irvin wasn't trying to go nowhere. Never. Jerry Rice wasn't trying to go nowhere. I ain't do none of that. And then Marvin Harrison, Reggie Wayne, they ain't go nowhere. I said we stand together. You know what I'm saying? You don't see that no more. Everybody's a mercenary or a sales sword now. You know what I mean? They want to go for I want to be the highest paid player. Okay, go get your money and go play over there with Tyler Shook or wherever you're gonna go. They might be good quarterbacks somewhere. Maybe you get with Herbert, go somewhere, right? But Herbert don't know you. Herbert might not even want to throw you the ball. Shit, Herbert might not like you. Herbert might Jalen hurts you. Look at AJ Brown. AJ Brown like, hey, Jalen don't even want to throw me the ball. Why? Because you run a lot of dig routes, slant routes, in-breaking routes, and you probably was in-breaking on some chick that, he want to in-break on, so he don't like you for that either. He don't like you on or off the field. So his ass said, I'm not throwing you the ball. I was watching film of Hurts look at that man and still throw to Dallas Goedert, throw to Smitty, or run the ball, act like he ain't even see it. I seen that at least 7 times last season. I could probably count more if I felt like watching all of Eagle snaps. So go ahead, jump bad if you want to, George. Go somewhere else if you want to, George. I like George Pickens a lot. I just think if his agent is telling him that you should leave the Cowboys, his agent's a dumbass. And then the things that he's doing as a result of that, they're very, very not smart. When I say that, I mean the inevitable post, the cryptic posts, that don't ever work here. Once you start pulling that shit here, you won't be here. Jerry don't play that, man. And I'm not even saying it like, oh, massa, none of that. But it's just like, come on, dummy. Do y'all know how to do business or no? Who is that? Who that? Nyla, get him. Get him. Come on. Get your baby. Be a mom. She making too much noise. Dang. My dog. Anyway, Jerry don't play that. If you hear and you see guys who've played here long, right? They get money. Jerry will make sure they get their paper. And even guys that you don't think he should pay no more. I was tired of Tyrone Crawford the first year. I was tired of Tyrone Crawford. Tyrone Crawford stayed here forever. Stayed here for like 9 seasons. Why? Because he was a guy that didn't try to rock the boat. LV, I've been tired of LV in the beginning. He played his 6 seasons. Why? Why make it so long? Because Jerry was like, hey, he don't rock the boat. Sean Lee injured all the damn time. He was here. They said, we ain't getting rid of you. Right? Tyron Smith got injured a couple times. They ain't trying to move away from Tyron Smith. 1, he was a hell of a talent. But 2, he wasn't trying to go nowhere. He was chilling. Zach Martin. We even brought back Fredericks after the Guillain-Barré injury or sickness. And he wasn't even the same when he came back. He retired because he knew he just couldn't do it no more. But they look after their own. But when you pull the Rock Nation moves like Des Bryant, you like, oh, I'm gonna give my money. Okay, yeah, we're gonna give you that money that you asked for. But now you become a strain on the salary cap, and they're gonna get rid of you the first moment you slip. But not only are they gonna get rid of you the first moment you slip, when you make your business to be, hey, I want to be highest paid based off of the productivity that I'm putting out there, then they know productivity is something they control. Meaning they control how often you play, they control your incentives, they control all that. And you don't want to make, I'm a businessman. You don't want to incentivize me to bet against you as a business. That's bad business for you. So that's why I say the agents aren't really thinking. You don't want me to be betting against your knee, betting against your ankle, betting against your injury, because once you are now diminished, whether it's physically or mentally or just productivity wise, now that payment start to really creep up on me. And I don't like it. Then I start thinking about the negotiation and I realize I don't like your ass. And I got options in here. I can get rid of your ass. After 2-3 years, I can opt out the contract, or I might not have to pay 20 mil. I'll pay 20 mil to get rid of you. You know what I'm saying? So I will pay money to get rid of certain people out of my business now. What's it gonna cost me to get rid of this? All right, well, fuck it. I'll just take the pay cut. I'm gonna lose $24,000 a year. If I get rid of this guy, if I fire this guy, he fired because I don't like his ass. Whereas I got guys who live in my buildings who can't even pay me rent. I don't charge them nothing. I ain't even mad they there. You know why? Because they cool. They know how to they know how to be productive in the organization. You know what I'm saying? You don't think I know what I'm talking about though. I really don't understand. Incentives are everything. Why do doctors, not to try to get too crazy, but why do doctors want to medicate your ass or cut on you all the time? Why are they always looking for something? Well, y'all looking for, y'all trying to dig like digging for gold, because it is gold, right? Why did everybody die from, the COVID? Because they got incentivized 40 grand for everyone that they had that died from it, right? If you incentivize someone, my point is, if you incentivize something, people are going to move in that direction. Meaning, don't make me look at the player as a liability. Don't make doctors look at the individuals coming in there as someone that needs to be sick in order for me to get paid. Meaning I need to be able to prescribe something to you, or I need to be able to cut something off you. So guess what? If I need to make some money and I'm trying to make money as a doctor, most likely you leaving here with something that's going to allow me to prescribe you with something, because I get incentivized not for people who are healthy. I get incentivized to seeing people who are sick and keeping them sick. That's how I get paid. So you're going to get medications and no, you will not heal. You know what I'm saying? You're going to get a surgery. I don't give a damn if you need it or not. If you halfway need it, I'm going to give it to you because I get paid to cut stuff. I don't get paid for healthy people. Cops don't get paid for crime rates. They get paid for arrest records. So they see more criminals in people than they do citizens. When they look at you, you're not a citizen. You're a potential bag. You're a potential criminal, because they get incentivized based off of how many people they arrest. They don't get incentivized based off of, hey, when you on the clock, ain't no robberies, ain't no murders. That would be a reason to move differently, wouldn't it? So it's the same thing, man. When you look at these players and the way their agents are setting them up, they're pitting them against their own teams or the next team that they go to. Now, yes, those other teams that might have a glaring need, like Green Bay did, they might want the sell sword or the disloyal sword and say, hey, let me take this guy and I'm a pain. But now guess what? You got the bag of all that shit you just left, the stories and the narrative you just left on your head, coming in the door, on those knees or on that body, and you can't fuck up. And you also got the hope of the team that you're going to. You got to live up to all that and justify the move they just made or somebody getting fired, bro. You understand? So when the agent not telling you that piece of the story, they shady. They lying to you. You know what I'm saying? They lying to you. They using you. You know? Hey, to each his own. But I do not like David Mulugita. I can tell you that straight up. And I think that he's overrated. I think that a lot of agents is overrated. But we'll talk about that later. You know what I'm saying? But it is what it is. It is what it is. That was a great question, though. You made me go all the way in there with that one. That was wild. All right. Let me see. Boom. Grab the bag now, number 3, or eat for a lifetime. Exactly. Leofile was called a genius, man. I hope his instincts can help him carve out a long-term role. Him and Barham is a nasty duo. I mean, well, you got to think about it. He might not be. It might not be that bad. He might get a 1-year flyer after this with us. He might be a backup this year, but end up starting eventually. Reason being, Demarion Overshawn don't look like he's trying to be here for the long haul. He's trying to get his money somewhere else, maybe. So go get it. And if he's gone next year, D. Winters is here, but how long? You know, if he don't stay, and you got Leofile having an opportunity down the line, so I could see that happening. I think it's up against him right now. He's the 5th man in almost every room. So I don't know if he even makes the team. He might make the practice squad at this point. That's fucking wild. But that's how good we just got. Think about it. He ain't better than Gary. He ain't gonna get on the field over Gary. He ain't gonna get on the field over Ezraku unless he's not healed yet. He's not gonna get on the field over Malachi Lawrence. He ain't gonna get on the field over Sam Williams. He's the 5th guy in that room. All right. He ain't getting on the field over D. Winters. He ain't getting on the field over Curtis Robinson. He ain't getting on the field over Demo. He ain't getting on the field over Jay Sean Barham. He's the 5th guy in that room. Where is I don't see Leofile making the team now, man. And y'all know this is not coming from hate. I like Leofile, one of my favorite players on the team. But that's how good we just got. And that's just facts. I'm not biased. He is one of my favorite players. But do I think that he should play over those guys? No. Not the way we shaping out. Now, training camp could change things. Pads, when people start moving around in pads, coaches will grade people differently, move them around, do different things. I don't think Shamar James should even be on the team. I don't. Not because I don't like him, just skill wise. What are he gonna do? I don't even want you on special teams. I'll put Morris on special teams over you. You know what I'm saying? I'll put these other guys on special teams over you. So what you gonna do for me? I don't got nothing I can do with you. You know what I'm saying? Practice squad. I mean, so it's a lot of different things. You know what I mean? Let me see. My hope is that the scheme and the disguise will cause turnovers, drops, and or sacks. It not no hope. It will, Jay. I could tell by the way you frame your questions, though. You know what the hell you talking about, Jay. Jay be playing. And Jay like a whole motherfucking rocket scientist and shit. He's like, I was a AI engineer. I said, what? He said, yeah, tech engineer and shit. Like, Jay Bryant, smart as shit. I'm smart, but Jay Bryant's smart. That nigga smart. Excuse my French, man. PJ Locke is very good in single high. He should play in front of Hooker. Hooker avoid contact nowadays. Yeah, Hooker was beat up a little bit, so I could see why he was avoiding contact. And I agree with you about PJ Locke. See in base, I don't want to see. I see them in zero look. I wouldn't mind seeing them in zero look in base. To be honest, I wouldn't care because that would encourage you throwing on first downs. You ain't. I mean, maybe single high. You might not go zero, but it'll be single high in base. Might not go zero, but you'll drop one in the box, but he not really in the box. Hooker pretends he in play. Surprise, he's still here. Yeah. Wait, did y'all pay attention to how many times they talked about players being smart? Scouts and coaches keep saying it because that's what they're looking for now. They're not looking for the freak athlete that's dumb anymore. We had a lot of those. When you have a team that can't set edges for years, right? Or keep doing the same dumb thing. And I can see who's not that bright. I can tell you right now who's not bright. Overshawn, one, not the David Mulligita hire. That's not bright either. But Overshawn, when you see what he does on the sidelines, guys are going out of bounds. You can see they're going out of bounds. He'll hit them anyway. Last year, Clowney was chasing a guy out of bounds, I think, in the KC game or in the Detroit game. Overshawn runs and dives past Clowney at the guy who's already out of bounds and chops Clowney's knees out. Now, Clowney didn't get hurt, but he got up slow as shit. Like, yo, not only is you diving at a guy that's 3 steps out of bounds, but you almost hurting your own teammates because you wild, and it's probably why you keep getting hurt, because you're doing not smart shit. He's a great athlete, though. Sam Williams, when he first got here, kept getting he was a flag machine. Why? Because he do dumbass shit. Get what I'm saying? So getting out of that mindset is a smart thing to do, I think. So I think that's why they keep saying smart, because like we got the athletes that wasn't smart. Now you need guys who love football. And I don't mean love football meaning that's all you know. That don't mean you love football. Like Boobie. Boobie Miles loved football, but he wasn't smart. You know what I'm saying? Remember that. So I don't care if you love football if you're not smart. I mean love football enough to make the smart decisions on and off the field so you can keep playing fucking football. That's smart. That's what love football means. If you love something, then you protect yourself enough to be able to keep doing it. That's Caleb Downs. That's those types of guys. You know what I'm saying? That's smart. Now, Jay Sean, I'm not sure about because he did headbutt an official. That was not smart. But his play on the field seems smart. But he has his moments where you say, yeah, bro, what was you thinking? You know what I mean? So we're going to see. Hooker wasn't as bad as it seemed. Everybody disappeared in this scheme last year. Okay. Breezy said, appreciate it. Shout out to Akoye. Well-deserved membership growth. I believe you a for real business mogul. Oh, man, thank you for that, man. I'm growing. I'm 100,000 there. I need to get up to the millions, though. I definitely do. Because if I had, like they say, do something with your life, right, that you wouldn't mind doing every day. Like, what would you do right now? Most of y'all, like, what would you do right now if you was already rich and you was chilling? Well, I need to get rich to do, doing the things I'm doing, because I'm already doing the things that I would do if I was rich. Meaning, I would be doing this. I would be training fighters. I would be giving back to the young guys that's from where I'm from. I got a second chance when I was like 14. I got arrested and for fighting, whatever. Got in trouble. Was supposed to really go to jail for 3 years, and instead of sending me to jail, because of my aptitude and attitude, the judge decided to let me go work, and I had to pay a restitution, pay medical fees, do all that for 3 years. So from my freshman year, leading into the freshman summer, all the way up to my senior year, I had to work. And pay off restitution and all that, right? Well, there's a lot of young guys that's in the city now that's like me. You know, some of them not like me. Some of them like to do nut shit. I don't really care to help you. I'll help you, but if you get back in trouble, that's on you. But the ones who need a second chance just because you come from a violent place don't mean you're a bad person. Just because you're violent doesn't mean you're an evil person. You're just violent. You might need to be somewhere where violence is acceptable. Like my sons, I know they're violent, right? So I put them in violent sports, and they're peace-loving young boys now, 18 and 21, but they will break every bone in your body because they both do jiu-jitsu and they love it, right? But if they was in the streets, they would be doing dumb shit like me when I was young, when I was their age. But I understood that. So anyway, I want to help those type of kids with the programs that I'm putting together now. But all the things that I want to do in life, I'm doing. I need to get rich so that I can spend all my time doing it. You know, and even the people that I help now in the buildings that I have, like the homeless veterans and the people with long-term care needs, that came because my grandmother, when she was passing away, I sat down next to her. She was like in this sand bed one time, right? I was 19, but I sat down next to her, and she was like, Darius. I said, Grandma, you could talk. I didn't know she could talk. She was there for like 6 years, sitting in the sand bed. Didn't know she can talk. She had all these bed sores, all that, right? Pressure ulcers, stuff like that. And I said, yo, if I ever get the opportunity to help people that's in that type of vulnerable position, I want to help them. So that's what I do now. So everything I do is what I want to be doing, but I definitely want to scale up. But I appreciate, what you said, bro, Reezy. appreciate that because that's definitely what I want to be doing. Okay, he said, Akoye, brother, I'm interested in what you think about Michael Trigg, the tight end we got from Baylor. When you see him, tell me if you think he can push Shoemaker off the roster. Oh, he could definitely push you. It don't take much to push Shoemaker off the roster. I think if Hunter Lipke switched to tight end, he would push Shoemaker off the roster right now. Shoemaker is like, I call him almost. Remember what that movie called? Apocalypto? They call him Olak. Olak. Almost. Almost. Call that boy almost. He's almost making a play. Always. He said we need to add another proven linebacker. Okay. I'm not gonna argue with y'all when y'all say that, but I don't think that's wise either when you say it. That's not calling you dumb. I'm just saying when I say I don't think it's wise, Jack, I'm saying it because of this. I just explained it earlier. I'll explain it again real quick. Our scheme is set up for linebackers to have glaring success very fast, right? So when you have a line, what'll happen, the reason to be a progress stopper, because any proven linebacker you bring in here, any linebacker you bring in here that can read and react anyway is going to have insane stats. If you bring a proven linebacker in here who wants money, he's going to justify that money because he's going to have insane stats. And also those insane stats or good stats is going to keep the guy that's behind him if that guy chooses to stay here. That becomes a progress stopper. If you just let the young guy play, he's going to have insane stats. And then you guys get to call him D Roy, and they get to call him, the next coming of Mike. Y'all get to call him all this good shit if you let the young guys just play instead of these veterans, because the scheme is going to create that anyway. You don't got to believe me. It's already happened. Everywhere that Marcus Dixon has gone, it's happened. And everywhere that BT Jordan has gone, it's happened from a pass rush standpoint. When you bring both those guys together, you're going to have a front seven that is chaos, meaning they stop the linebacker stopped the run anyway. But BT Jordan has created he gave pass rush moves to the linebackers that were in Seattle and in Denver. Those guys I saw Singleton setting up spin moves. When the last time you seen a linebacker setting up proper spin counters, meaning rush up, I'm gonna rush his right side. Once he commits that right foot, I'm gonna slap this hand down, turn around and spin. I seen Bobby Wagner doing those Jones. I was like, who the fuck talking Bobby Wagner? Yeah, man. So I just don't think we need one, man, because of this scheme. Like I said, Warren Duncan said, "What's up, Akoye? The defense is starting to look like they're getting what they need. What else do you think we need?" We need consistency from the tackles on the offensive side of the ball. But there's no holes in this team right now. Defensively, definitely nothing. We don't need nothing. You want some shit. We don't need nothing. Offensively, what do we don't need nothing. Nothing. I would say the only need, nope, because I think we already got him. But don't nobody talk about him. I wanted this kid out of Pittsburgh. What's going on, Nyla? Stop it. I wanted this kid out of Pittsburgh, that running back, Anaconda. I don't know his name, how to say his name. Anaconda, whatever his name is. We got him. He ain't even injured or nothing. He on our practice squad. He signed somewhere. But we needed a scat back or a change of pace back for Javonte Williams. I think we got plenty of them to try that roll out. We got Blue. You got the kid Anaconda. You got Maffa. You got Malik Davis. You got some guys that can spell. So I don't think we need nothing. I really don't. He said, "Nah, at Drell, Jalen Smith was nicknamed the God Backer. That man had some of the most incredible film a linebacker has ever had in college, and then had the worst knee injury I've ever seen." That ain't the worst knee injury you ever seen. You've seen Willis McGahee knees. Willis McGahee is the worst knee injury I've ever seen. But Jalen's close. Jalen was a guy pushing you in the back, and his body weight broke his knee up. Willis was a guy putting his helmet on that knee and his body flying forward while his knee stayed there in the ground. Willis McGahee's knee injury is probably the worst I've ever seen. But nonetheless, you are right. And then Jalen Smith used to put his hand in the ground. People talk like this pass rushing linebacker shit wasn't created with Parsons. Jalen Smith was a pass rusher. And I don't mean he was okay at it. I'm talking about better than Jay Sean right now. better than Micah Parsons was when he got in the league, meaning his ability to use his hands and shit like that. Like Parsons had great feet, but Jalen, watch his Notre Dame practice film. Just watch his film. Watch it when he put his hand in. He's getting a 3-point stance and bust your ass from the edge, but also can play linebacker at a high clip. Like that didn't start just now. That started with Jalen Smith. But so you're right, Jay Bryant. Those who knew before the injury what he was understand why, like post injury, he was old. He was good, but he wasn't nothing compared to what he was gonna be. He wasn't that. He said Mike up there getting them cheese curds in commercials now, probably. We got robbed of the best of Jalen Smith before. Yeah, I said that before. All right, let me see. At Akoye, I think Marquise Bell is done. I liked him, but not sure he will be here after the legal situation he's in. Yeah, that was the craziest, bro. Like, yo, I'm not like I never did anything illegal. I've been in the streets before, but bruh, you got too much visibility to be out there. Like, not possession of some shit you smoking. Like, he really was trying to move some numbers, I heard, I guess. Like, what was you doing? I don't understand. We've been searching for a leader on defense. We found one, Shotty. I think we got a couple of them, actually. We got a lot of leaders now. I knew Shotty was going to take over the defense after the KC game. Yeah, he took over. He said, yo, y'all got to, what are we doing? He said, you're on point down, sound like a soon-to-be leader. Quentin Williams, Kenny Clark are leaders. Yo, you got it. And all we needed, and Rashawn Gary's a leader. Rashawn Gary was at the school in Arvo Reese on how to pass rush. Like, that's a leader. I've never heard Micah Parsons do none of that. All we need is the linebacker, and we have leaders at all levels. That's the foundation of a winner. I think you got that in D. Winters, and you got it. That entire linebacker room, all three of those guys, all four of those guys, even Curtis Robinson, all those guys are like, they have that type of rapport. You know what I mean? I think that Demo, his true love for the game, that's leadership right there. He's a leader because he loves it. He's contagious. All right. Nobody will run it 51 times against us like the Bills did. That's good enough for me. That's a fact. They will not do that. He said, nah, man, D. Winters is still sneaky good addition. That's facts. Dope story about Winters. I love players that understand their position and what's happening all across the line of scrimmage. That's a fact. Perkins and Reese on the mic sounding like Larry Holmes. They did. I was like, yo, take the mic. Take the mic. They hurting their draft stock, man. Let them make them shut up. Don't let them say nothing, man. So when you look at guys like that, you're like, oh, he's just an athlete, who can make plays, but he's instinctive. You need to be instinctive, but can you think at a high level and play that fast-paced chess? I know it because I got guys who are instinctive boxers. They'll punch your head off, but they don't think. They don't think. Like, they really don't think. But they can do everything, but they don't think. And like, that's what makes them great, though. The great ones think and can do. They're highly talented, but they have skill too. The difference between skill and talent is talent you're born with. You got natural abilities. Skill is honed from just your experiences and the things you're doing. You know what I mean? And then your ability to take that and apply it, that's when you have wisdom, because now you have the skill and you have the knowledge, you have all the, understanding. But when you understand a thing, you can apply a thing, or you can teach a thing. You know what I'm saying? Or you can put things in layman's terms when you understand it. It's a difference. So, and this is what I mean. A good player that's talented but dumb can learn your playbook. He'll learn your playbook. He'll know the play. You can make the call. I know where I'm supposed to be, coach. But that coach would be like taking his hat off and throwing it once a game because he'll realize this guy don't understand what I'm trying to teach him here. So he's trying to teach you different things. And then he's using his PhD level coaching vernacular or language to try to explain something to you on a level where he gotta figure out, like, learning is when you create a bridge between what is known and what's unknown. So I gotta first know where you are. What do you know? How do you think? Then I can give you analogies that I can tie to the way you think. You know what I'm saying? So that you can understand what I'm trying to teach you. What I mean by that is this. You got players who will, let's say they call cover two, you the middle linebacker, you got deep middle, your responsibility is deep middle, they might high-low you, there's a lot of things that might happen, right? Depending on what alignment, what should you be doing, depending on what release you get out of this receiver to the right, you got trips right, trips left, this is all stuff happening while you're out there, right? But the call, I'm deep middle. Now, if you say, okay, you see shallow relief, you see a bunch of drag routes underneath. You see a seam route going a little bit behind you, right? And that's a dig that's developing behind you, right? So they're high-lowing you. They want you to either bite on the drag or they want you to float to the dig or the post that's behind you, right? Okay, as a middle linebacker who doesn't understand what a high-low concept is, right? You might bite on the drag because, the quarterback's looking that way. So you bite on that. Now you leave the dig for 15, 20 yards open behind you, nothing but space, right? Or you might float under up under the dig deep, and now that drag is wide open underneath, and then now they built a little wall where they can block you off, and now that's a big play. A.J. Brown's running up the field, right? Okay, so how do you play both, right? So you use your feet to flow up the field to force the quarterback to throw where you want him to throw the ball because he's trying to high-low you anyway. So you're going to show him high and then drive low. Or you show him low, but then you turn your hips and you get underneath the high route. If you don't understand the defense and the weakness of the defense you're playing, you'll just be covering grass and then you'll be reacting and just hitting shit. You get what I'm saying? Some people don't get what I'm saying. You know what I mean? So that's my point. Some players will learn the playbook. They know the playbook, but they don't understand the playbook. It's different. So it's knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. So you first have to have knowledge, right? Knowledge is just the information. Can you remember and regurgitate the information I gave you? Do you know your ABCs, right? Okay. Now that you have the ABCs, can you make words out of them? Okay. That's understanding, that's wisdom. Or understanding, I would say. I think understanding and wisdom kind of same thing, but knowledge, right? And you applying it would be you doing your ABCs and so on, right? But then once you start understanding nuance, word formulations, and different ways that people are using little euphemisms or condescending tones or patronizing tones to try to play with you using a sentence that might just be normal, but they layer it with sarcasm and a bunch of extra deep shit. That takes wisdom and understanding, right? So, yeah, you know the words. Can you read the word? Yeah, you can read the word, but what does it mean? And then in this context, what does it mean? In that context, what did it mean? Like in Philly, I'll give you an example. In Philly, I could say, yo, is you good? Is you good could mean, yo, you good? Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, that's one way. You can say, yo, you good? That's a whole different way. What did that mean? I mean, like, yo, was it a problem? No, we good. You know what I mean? Boom. All right, it's different ways in, but I'm gonna ask you the same shit over and over again, but different context, different tonality, different situations, different familiarity changes what the meaning of what I'm saying is. And if you don't know it, you lost. You might get shot. Don't even know you're about to get shot. Boy, be like, hey man, you right. I'm right. What you mean I'm right though? Yeah, you right. He coming back, bro. Stay right there. What that mean? You got it. Oh, you about to die. You don't even know you about to die. You think y'all have it. It's like, yo, your homie come over, be like, yo, what happened? What was that exchange I just saw? Oh no, it's good. He said, it's good. He said it's good. Yeah. He ain't look like it was good though. No, he said it's good. He'd be right back, bro. But you don't understand the context of what's happening. See what I'm saying? So it's the same thing with football, same thing with anything in life. You don't understand nuance and understand those levels of detail. That's what they mean by smart players. They don't mean you can't learn the playbook. Just like when people start talking green dot, that don't mean he's the highly intelligent guy. That just means he's the guy that can communicate what the plays are the best. But when I say green dot, I'm talking about the guy that can come in and tell a guy, hey, look for this play. They're going to try to hit you with that, right? Because we're in this call. And last time we was in this call, they did that. Just like we talking about D. Winters and so on. Those are green dot guys, not the guy who's calling the plays. I don't give a fuck if you can call the plays or not. It's about, do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? Do you understand the things that's happening on this field, like at a high level? Yes or no? All right. We got Rashawn Gary, Kenny Clark, Quentin Williams, and Malachi Lawrence for Micah. Our defense is 100 times better because Micah is gone. It just took some time. It ain't take that much time. One season. I wonder if Jay Toya gets pushed out. I mean, maybe he gets stronger. Jay Toya got an opportunity because we got one true nose. That is Agbania. He's your true nose. And if I was starting the season off right now today, Agbania would be my starting nose tackle. And then I would put Quentin Williams and Kenny Clark at the 4-eye because having them on a tackle Tackles are used to dealing with speed more than power. And even when they're dealing with power, they're dealing with power from a guy like not even Rashawn Gary size. Because he's huge. They used to dealing with power from a guy that's 260, 255, blown up 260. They strong, but they not that big. You got 100 pounds almost on those guys, right? But you can see the reason that a guy like Rashawn Gary keeps beating guys like Lane Johnson, and he beats guys like Penei Sua. I keep fucking their names up. Penei Sua. He beats those types of guys because not only does he have pass rush moves, but he is powerful like a defensive tackle, right? They're not used to dealing with that kind of power, not tackles. Guards are, because they get help from the center or they get help from the tackle. They got a two-way go. They get help. A tackle is out on the island. And if you have him playing or have those guys stacking, they're not even playing 4-eye. I would play Quentin Williams and Kenny Clark just 4, just right head up on the tackle. That makes the guards have to push out to try to help. That makes the center weak versus the nose one-on-one. You know what I'm saying? Those guards have to squeeze out to try to help the inside shoulder of those tackles who have to deal with now a 300-pound guy who's used to dealing with double teams, dealing with just you. And now if you try to kick out to try to get out to those outside linebackers, they're not going to let you get off of them to get to the linebacker. They're going to be either doing defensive holding or they're going to get such a good knockback off of their initial get off that you don't have time or the balance to even get out there to deal with what's coming from the defensive ends or outside linebackers. So Rashawn Gary and whoever's on the other side, they're going to eat. And you're getting that internal pressure. But beyond that, when you look at the teams that they came from, Minnesota, Denver, those where the scheme was run. I mean, Zach Allen is a beast. The other Allen, Jonathan Allen, is a beast from Minnesota. He was there last year. They beasts. But it wasn't like this. They didn't have Redmond is okay. He's good. But they didn't have like across the board, it's just dogs. They ain't had that. Now, Quentin Williams and Kenny Clark alone, just those two on two opposite sides of the field playing 4 with Agbani in the middle of the field and Rashawn Gary standing up outside of them, strong side or weak side. And then you have Ezeraku out there. Ezeraku and Rashawn Gary. Now, y'all going to say they had a great year. They did better. They did so much better. This scheme is going to make them better immediately. But one of them right there is already a load. He's already beaten the best tackles in the game by himself. While sometimes rerouting tight ends. Rashawn Gary has beat Lane Johnson. He's beat him on numerous occasions. He's beaten Penei Sua. You know what I'm saying? He whooped his ass. That dude from the Bears, number 75, who they say only gave up 4 pressures last year, he whooped his ass. You know what I'm saying? Rashawn Gary's beating those guys. And that's when he's beating those guys without these guys in the interior helping him. Now he's getting help, and these guys only got a half a man to deal with him. That's a problem. I wouldn't be surprised if he got his 10 plus sacks this season. Easy. So good stuff. But Toia might play. The reason back to your question, sorry about that. Back to your question, Toia probably will play because or he probably can stay here because if he got more stout at the point of attack, you got Agbania that's a true nose. You got Kenny Clark that can play nose, and so can Quentin Williams, but neither one of them want to play nose here. You shouldn't, because we're better with them on the outside, right? At 4-eye. So if those are your 4-eye guys, and Bullard's a 4-eye guy that can play nose sometimes, but he's 290. He's really a backup 4-eye guy. Then you got Overton's a backup 4-eye guy. So Overton and Bullard are your backups at Kenny Clark and Quentin Williams. And then you got Agbani in the middle. He might have Kenny Clark that can slide in there sometimes and do that, but you will want Toia to be that guy. So hopefully Toia becomes the nose tackle you want him to be, and then he backs up Agbania. But that's going to be your starting lineup. You're going to see rotations, yes, where you move those guys around, both Quentin Williams and Kenny Clark, but it won't be full term they're playing nose, because the nose position, the way it's designed when you're playing 0, we don't need them at 0. We need them to be your winners at that 4 tech position, especially if you're putting them right next to, you got them right next to Ezeraku and Rashawn Gary on the other side. Man, that's crazy. I'll admit it, I have no idea who Winters is. Never watched him until 2 days ago. Well, watch the footage that I put out on him. Winters is a smart player. Okoye, I hope your issue is fixed. Dallas Nation is lucky to have you, for real. Jimbo, appreciate you, Brody. Appreciate you for sure. And it seemed like it is. I think it was I think what the problem I think it was because only thing I changed was the browser. So I started going out of Edge, Microsoft browser instead of Chrome. I think Chrome don't play nice with StreamYard. That's number one. Hey, Nyla, go sit down. Go sit down. Don't shit on my floor, man. I'll take you out in a second. Go sit down. But yeah, I don't think it plays nice with Chrome, number one. And then two, I put this in 780p instead of 1080p. I think that my frame rate, my bit rate was too high for maybe my service. I don't know. It's just, or maybe my graphics card. I don't know. Maybe that's what it was. But it seemed like it's cool. I haven't heard anybody say anything bad yet. I don't think Toya makes the roster. He can't coast on just being big. He has to show some versatility. He don't need to show versatility. He just needs to do his job very well. He just needs to be a solid nose. If he could do that, he could make the team as a backup to Agbania for sure. Because that's a position that's going to beat you up. You need somebody that can really play the one, and you don't want to do it with Kenny Clark or Quentin Williams because you don't want to beat those guys up doing it. You want them to be smacking the line of scrimmage, not the other way around. Hey, also, if you want to get super chats, you don't have to go through YouTube because NFL flags it. You can link your Cash App, PayPal, Streamlabs, and just have it pulled up while you're streaming. Yeah, I know. I do the Cash App, but people don't send them. You know what I mean? So, and honestly, I don't really care about them. I'm being honest. Like, I like the super chats. Don't get me wrong. I'm not ungrateful for nothing. You know what I mean? I'm grateful, but reason I don't care about them as much is because I'd rather have the members. The memberships, I know each month who my guys are. I know who's really supporting the channel. You sending me a cash at one time, like who's better than me? A guy who's a lifetime member or a guy who sent me $50 one time back in the day? You know what I'm saying? I'd rather have a lifetime member. You know what I'm saying? Get them on the comeback. That's the way I think. So I'd rather have a member because that helps me know how my channel's really doing and how it's growing. You know what I mean? And then from there, if I do anything else, it'd be like advertisement deals or something like that. So I don't really care about them. All right, I'm trying to get down to the bottom of this here. Yep, y'all can pin the Cash App. I will later. It's not glazed. There seems to be a direction in the franchise. Finally, right? I agree. But people was saying that. They be like, they think I'm just like, I'm a homer. I'm not a homer. I'm just a realist. We need that big time. We need that big time smart players. Yep. Reezy, there isn't a reason why you guys shouldn't be excited. The division is better. Yeah, the whole division is better. What's up, Flame? What's up, Flame Ignited? Big Cart, that's my guy. Yo, you funny as shit too, man. Cart always sending me. It's like he know me or something. Like you be sending me some shit on my IG, man. Funny as hell, man. He said, Akoye, I love that the Cowboys, or what the Cowboys have done with this offseason. I think the 3-4 defensive scheme is going to help us and the pass rush. Yeah, we just spent a minute talking about that a second ago. Okoye, glad you brought up the Dolphins not wanting to pay Brooks. Did you see the Lions decline Jack Campbell's 5-year option? That's Styles in 4 years. Got to work out a contract or he's gone. Well, like I said, when you know your scheme is going to produce and afford a guy, like if I know my scheme is going to produce, well, I'm going to pay you. Certain schemes produce certain types of players. Like I think that Pittsburgh going to continue it because Pittsburgh has hired 2 of the coaches in the last 20 years that have done nothing but create wide receivers. Tomlin ain't paying you. You know why? Well, we can go make another one. How many wide receivers came through Tomlin? We did this before. And then now they got McCarthy. McCarthy was the other one. McCarthy in Green Bay had so many wide receivers. It's not fun. I'll be forgetting some of them. That's how many he had. Freeman, Jennings, Adams, Nelson, Driver, James Jones, some tight ends that was crazy too. What was the tight end name that kept getting hurt, kept getting knocked out? But they was killing it because Mike McCarthy know how to develop wide receivers and quarterbacks, and so does Tomlin knows how to pick a wide receiver. They both was wide receiver coaches too. You know that? Yeah, crazy. But now we have guys like that are on the defensive side of the ball that can build it. Like Dixon was a defensive tackle, a defensive lineman who knows how to build a defensive front that creates not only linebackers, because he understands the job of the defensive tackle is to help you guys behind you stay free. So he knows how to not only develop linebackers because of those fronts, but he knows what type of defensive lineman he needs. So if Overton, right, is coming up in this scheme and he plays well, He understands, like, listen, I need to stay with a scheme that understands me. So I'm more likely to take a team-friendly deal to stay with the scheme that's making me like a Pro Bowl type player, right? Versus leaving and not getting none of that. See, a lot of players are choosing the money, but they don't realize it ain't sunny over there. And that regime that you're going to might fall from underneath you real quick. And when they do, when that rug get pulled, you gone, buddy. Because everybody might not value you the same. Would you do anything to the defense or just rock out till the deadline? I wouldn't do nothing else. I don't think we need nothing else on defense. I don't. Sam Williams is the one who can make a big difference in this defense if he learns a rush plan. Sam Williams, exactly. You good for that front office. You should work in the front office. Sam Williams' problem is he's too fast. So I tell some fighters, right? Feint. Don't just throw. Just because you got fast hands don't mean you're always gonna hit me, right? So let's say you got fast hands, but you fight from here, right? And you don't feint, you don't move your head. So you fight from here, I can see your hands moving before they even start moving. I see your shoulders moving. I know the punch is coming. Whereas I might not hit as hard as you, but I fight from here. My hands are close to you. So my jab is right there. My right hand is already right there. Get what I'm saying? My hands are already halfway to where they're going because of technique. I'm going to beat you to the punch, even if you're faster than me. Sam Williams is too fast, meaning he gets up on the tackle fast, but he doesn't have a counter. So he runs right into the block. He runs right into your hand and get gripped up. Whereas if he used that get off, but can slow it down and throttle down a little bit and counter off of it, or use the get off to either go to speed to power or something like that, he would do a lot better. But he just try to run right past you because he's super fast and his get off is crazy, right? But he needs this. I think less is more for Sam. Sam doesn't need to be as fast to the point of attack as he is because he's running into blocks. He has good hand fighting ability. It's that he's rushing his rush. He doesn't set up a counter with his feet. He try to get straight through you. Okay. At the front office, Williams might be on the outside looking in, especially with the young talent and free agents coming up, in my opinion. I don't know which Williams y'all talking about. Oh, you're talking about Sam Williams. Oh, yeah, for sure. They drafted people. Sam Williams is basically auditioning for someone else this year, unless he is incredible this season. They have talked about smart players. Sam hasn't always been smart. That's a fact. He is auditioning for someone else unless he let somebody get hurt and he can go crazy. Yeah. Now Devin Moore might surprise us. He's going to push Carson or Butler off the roster. I don't think it's going to be Butler, but Carson. See you. I'll let Carson go before I let Butler go. Butler nasty. It would be better if we had a vet started the first couple of games opposite Gary. Sam is a prime candidate if he steps up. Well, it could be Azaraku too. You never know. Just for laughs, who would you keep? Osa or Clowney? Clowney. That's not for laughs. I would keep Clowney. I like Clowney. But in this defense, neither one. Either one. I think that Clowney's a better 4-3 defensive end than anything else. He's not an outside linebacker in a 3-4, and he's not a 4-eye guy. He's a 4-3 defensive end. I think Osa could probably play. If he played anywhere, it'd be 4-eye. But guess who got to play 4-eye in this defense? Kenny Clark and Quentin Williams. So why would I want Osa to do it for $20 million? I don't. That's what Jerry was talking about. I don't need Osa for $20 million. I got two backups. I got Bullard. We got Overton that's backing those guys up. We got Agbania that's playing in the middle. We got Jay Toya, and Jay Toya is backing him up. That's our front six right there. I like Sam's athleticism. I don't think he's going to start. He can do it, but he has to be in the classroom. Yeah, let's see if he is. Let's see if he is. They said still kind of choppy. Damn, I thought I was doing good, man. Thought I was doing good. Fuck me up, man. Damn. I was all happy. I'm glad you ain't tell me until just now, though. I was flowing. Does having a veteran quarterback to practice against the new defense help at all? Yeah, it does. Help them get smart fast. I got it. Here's something. Parson laid on the table. That was it. Jerry had enough, but people want to say Jerry was wrong. No, he was showing he was bullshit. Let's face it, some players just don't have the makings of a varsity athlete. True. Amen. Stink. Our longevity got zero to do with the medical shareholders. All right, let's see what y'all talking about. Y'all ain't talking to me. Y'all talking to each other. Lando. What's up, Lando? Lando been in here for 30 minutes. He said pad level and patience behind the line of scrimmage. I was holding blue back. Yeah, I agree. But I don't think we need blue. You said you dismiss Trig but want to be wrong. I gotta see Trig full film. I don't like highlights. I've seen great highlights, but that don't mean nothing. Might get another Rico Gathers. Oh, Rico grabbed the ball out the air like a fucking loaf of bread, and he couldn't even get on the field. I don't know why he couldn't get on the field. Probably because he spent too much time rapping. Trig Nice just had a little baggage blazing in a hotel room and getting kicked off the team is dumb. Well, you know how much we love smart players around here. All you need to know is about Winter's linebacker plays that he gets high praise from Fred Warner. Facts. That's facts, Darkness. Same concept with Quinnen saying Kenny is one of his mentors and guys he's always closely studied. Ain't that wild? And everybody was shitting. They were shitting on Kenny Clark all last year. I'm like, why y'all keep saying Quinnen Williams? Kenny Clark is a 3-time Pro Bowler, ain't he? Why y'all keep talking like he ain't that? And then Rashawn Gary a Pro Bowler. Why y'all keep talking like he ain't that? They keep talking like we ain't got Pro Bowlers up front and ballers. No street knowledge. Dude about to double back and create a T-shirt and maybe several. That's a fact. Like, I'll be right back. Like, oh, all right. Like, oh, you got it. Oh, you about to die. You got to die. You better have a conversation. Make sure it's right. Dummy, that messed down for some people. Spent all day watching BT Jordan videos. We got a blue chip coach teaching our defense line. I'm hype. I got some too. Penna. Yeah. Panay Sewer. Yeah. Jihad Manley, appreciate you becoming a member. Good brother. You the only one today, but I thank you. Darkness, you happen to catch mine and Akoye baseball boxing analogy for the unique nature of BT's teachings. Yeah, that was a great video. Y'all gotta watch that. We just did one. Just look up Lando and Akoye on Akoye Media's channels. It's like a very recent video. It's probably like 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. Yeah. Welcome to the family, though, Jihad. Okay, BT reminds me of my first jiu-jitsu coach, Master Lloyd Irvin, both geniuses and incredible teachers. Oh, man, jiu-jitsu is where it's at. I got to learn. That's the only thing that I don't know yet is jiu-jitsu. I'm good with, I've taken Aikido. I've boxed my whole life. I just naturally can wrestle. I don't know, I'm just strong for no reason. I can do that. Taking Taekwondo, didn't like it. Taking karate, didn't really like it, but I took karate for a year. But I've never done jiu-jitsu, and those are the only people I'm wary of because when I watch my son told me one time, right, and this is against a guy who knows jiu-jitsu. He's in a tournament, and he had already fought 4 people, and he's like, my next opponent, he said, I'm a smother choke this guy. I said, what's a smother choke? He said, it's when you take your leg, you lock a guy arm down with your off leg, right? And you got your legs wrapped around him. Then you take your hand and you get his off hand, his free hand with your other hand, right? Boom. And then your free hand, because you got your legs locking his arm, one arm down, and you got your arm locking one of his arms down. Now you got a free hand. He said, with your free hand, wait for him to breathe out, squeeze his nose, and squeeze his mouth. And he'll tap. I said, you ain't tapping nobody with that shit. I said, you can't tap me with that shit. And you ain't tapping nobody in no tournament with that. He told me what he's going to do. Went out there and did. I said, yo, that's dangerous, man. And that's somebody who know how to stop it. I don't know how to stop that shit. So it's like in the streets, it's like, man, I tell them that too. I said, man, you get in a fight in the streets, bring me back an arm. Don't get up. Don't just grab a guy and restrain him. Like break it so that he can't come back and do nothing to you in the next couple minutes, because that's what happened to you. Because he like, no, they don't believe in none of that no more because the way they train. But it's just like jiu-jitsu dangerous, man. You can break somebody's arms and legs and be talking them through it. You know what I mean? While you do it. That's wild. Boxing, cool, but if it go to the ground, I need some jiu-jitsu in my game. You know what I mean? I'm good everywhere else. That's facts, Akoye. Devontae Wyatt ain't Kenny Clark or Quinnen Williams. That's a fact. All right. Let's see. Quinnen Williams, KC, Agbo, JB, RG, Rashawn Gary, Ezraku, who's ML? Oh, Mars Leofile and Sam Williams. And who's this? JT. Who JT? JT Money. Shout out to JT Money. And I don't know who JT is. Who is that? I don't know who JT is. Who the fuck is JT? I had everybody except for JT. Who the fuck is JT? You got me. Oh, Toya. J Toya. That's why. Who the fuck is JT? There's room for Toya, but it's tight. Jonathan Bullitt is a monster on rundowns. But yeah, Jonathan Bullitt ain't a nose though. So I don't think Toya got to worry. I think Jonathan Bullitt is a 4-eye spell. Can this defense give the offense 1 or 2 more possessions? Hell yeah. And then some. What do you see the Cowboys' biggest need after free agency and the draft? Tight end, maybe. Maybe you get another tight end. But I like Hunter Lipke. I think Hunter Lipke can, give you some extra receptions out of the backfield. I don't think he play tight end, but he is one of the better tight ends on your team, though. He's the second best tight end on your team, and he don't play tight end for sure. He really is fast, can block, explosive, smart, mean. I think he's one of the guys that could be an X factor on this team. But I don't think we need anything. Your video is still freezing, but your voice is not. All right. Well, if my video is still freezing all crazy, that's crazy. There's still room for one more veteran off-ball backer if they want it. I don't think so. I don't think they should, Lando. But I already went over that earlier. I ain't going into that one again. But I will tell you, let's see, you're mostly good, just freezing once in a while, but audio is rock solid. Yeah, I'm out of here in a minute. Y'all know how I get when I start seeing this freezing. I'm like, I'm out of here. Appreciate all the family in the room. Big shout out to the AK members. Who's this? This is Richard Coleman. About time, but I've been waiting for you, Rich. You've been around here a minute. That's like when dudes that keep coming to the crib, keep coming to the cookout. You keep leaving with a plate. You leave with leftovers and all that. You know what I'm saying? Don't bring no meat. Pause. What the fuck? I shouldn't have said that. But, to the cookout is what I meant. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know what I mean. But appreciate you becoming a member. That went left real fast, though. I think Sam Williams will act a lot more grown up than we think. Well, let's see. All right. You said you think Trigg is the tight end? Watch him in the red zone. We gonna see. They ain't break no beat. That was crazy. Really. I don't know. But I've been up here a while, man. You sometimes you get fatigued. It's been a minute. He said, I hope Blue pulls his head out of his ass and he can be a perfect complement to Williams. Yep. Abanikanda. A good mix of both. I like him the most. I wanted him out of Pittsburgh when he was coming out. I wanted us to draft him. I don't know how to say his name. Abanikada, I think, or Anaconda. Pause. But that's what they was calling me when he was coming out of college, though. Man, I can't wait on a Trig film session to see the deep dive. I'll dive in. Why not? I wasn't going to, but why not? Let's see what he got. If I can get enough games of him, because it's hard to get the all 22 footage of college. I can't go. I'm not going to do a breakdown of one game, because then that doesn't help me. If it's his worst game, then everybody's going to think he's shit. If it's his best game, they're going to think he does shit, and neither one is true. So I need multiple games. If I can get them, I'll break them down. But I've been on here 2.5 hours. My dog over there trying to figure it out. I think she's trying to go outside, and she about to shit on my floor. But, I'm going to get out of here in a second. He said, man, these African cats coming over here, yoking jobs. Hey, you either hungry or you not. Yep, you better understand. They're going to have it's going to be a bunch of Senegalese football players in a minute. I mean, you better stop. Senegalese wrestlers is big as hell. They can run too. But I'm out of here, man. I appreciate y'all. I'm about to go walk my dog and feed them and see what's going on, man. But I appreciate it. Thank y'all. I'm out.